Three, two, one. Hello and welcome to episode 251 of Ruse Radio. We are back at it again with a returning guest. We have fulfilled the trilogy of Kino Crew. We've had each member of Kino Crew, each founding father, each man who burnt the sacred effigy come together on Ruse Radio, and now we have come full circle back to the beginning. It's like the fourth movie that's actually the prequel to the first three.
Yes, yeah. The Phantom Menace.
Yeah. You saw the series, you saw the trilogy. Now let's run it back, you know?
I'm glad to be back.
Yeah. I mean, I've been thinking about Mothman ever since.
I planted the Mothman seed.
Yeah.
That's great.
But for those that don't know, maybe someone's watching this, they didn't see the first one. Kino Crew Productions. What is Kino Crew?
Sure, yeah. So Kino Crew Productions, I'm Alex Perez. I'm one of the co-founders of Kino Crew Productions. It's a local Chicago independent production company. So we do a lot of fun short films. We do comedy. We're kind of known for horror right now. We've done a lot of horror films. And yeah, it started with me and my buddies, Nathan Olker, Josh Weitzel. Known each other for years. We made a ton of short films and sketches, and then we decided to kind of, join up, create the Avengers, basically. So that's the story. And then right now, I think we're on officially maybe like year 4.
Yeah.
Maybe year 5 of it being officially a company. But yeah. And we got a lot of things cooking right now.
So your latest releases would be Gobblehead 4?
Yeah. So there we go. That's an indicator how long we've been doing it.
Yeah.
So far. So Gobblehead 4. It's our annual Thanksgiving horror slasher comedy series.
Very family friendly for all the families who are looking for something to watch this Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
It's like the anti-Thanksgiving short horror movie because it's just gross. Like we went out of our way to gross people out this year specifically.
Yeah.
Mostly they're comedy horror trailers, like spoof trailers of exploitation 70s style things. And then this year we threw a bit of a curveball. This past year it was much more of like a short narrative piece, and it's probably the most mean-spirited, like nasty one we've done.
Mean-spirited. So normally it's more of a, how would you say, is it anthology, you could say. Every single one is different, but somehow kind of connected.
Kind of, yeah. There's like a different set of characters for the most part. Part 3 that we did last year, that was like our attempt to create some sort of cohesive narrative, because we're like, all right, we'll just grab existing characters from the first ones and then, create like a third final arc.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, people dug it. We screened them live at the Hairpin Art Center for a horror film showcase this past year, and people liked it. They're fun, funny movies. They're as much fun as they are to watch as they were to make.
Yeah.
Which I guess is rare, because oftentimes making things can be a giant pain in the ass.
Are they expensive?
The Goblin movies are incredibly inexpensive.
Yeah.
That's very much like we went back to basics where you make movies with your buddies in the backyard. And that was kind of the general idea with those Gobblehead movies. Because all the other movies are much more... Like, we put a lot of effort into pre-production, but ultimately we were like, we kind of wanted to do backyard-style movie.
How long does it take to make one of them, then?
So the first one, we had the quickest turnaround time. And that only exists because we were between films. And we're sitting around and we're like, I mean, we got free time. We have a bunch of props and stuff. So I dug up an old draft of a script that I put together with Steve O'Nystrom, who is a longtime collaborator, comedian, actor, musician, and we're like, let's just do this
Is he
Thanksgiving
technically
movie.
A member of Kino Crew, or is he an affiliate? Like, how would you define?
He's like a Kino Crew affiliate. More like he's like a collaborator.
Okay.
As much like Tim too, right?
Yeah, I see.
They're both basically in everything. They've helped co-write things. It's just me and Nathan and Josh are just basically, we have to put together all the other things, literally the infrastructure, pouring money into the projects, and then having to, me, Josh, and Nathan are married, basically. we're business married. But that was the consensus for that first one. We just wanted to do something fun between projects. And then we kind of got hooked because the process of making it was so fun. We shot that very quickly. And the turnaround time was very quick when it came to editing, because we shot it maybe a week or two before the Thanksgiving of that year. And part of the fun was also like, oh shit, the clock's ticking. Let's like edit this quickly. And
yeah.
That was kind of part of the fun. And then originally I was like, I don't know if we could top something like that. Let's kind of do something else. And then everybody really wanted to do another one. So it became a thing we just did every year. And every year becomes a little bit more involved. But yeah, they're fun. They're fun projects.
But the latest one with Jack Dwyer is more dark, you'd say.
Yeah, that was a much more depressing, like, kind of a cynical movie. Which is funny because the other three are just so goofy. And you could almost say that they're irreverent comedies where, he's running around gobbling the entire time. So it's like, they're silly. And then we kind of like to throw some gut punches here and there with the other three movies where it's silly until there's suddenly a moment where people are upset. And this time it was like, it's a 2-act basically it's a 2-act movie where the first chunk is like a domestic drama. Like it's almost like a soap opera, and then the second half is just misery. Which,
on YouTube now, folks. You can watch it on YouTube now.
You can find it. Yeah. You can find everything on our YouTube channel.
See, I didn't realize all the Gobbleheads were even on YouTube until like a couple months ago. I was like, oh, it's all right there. I thought I had to go find it somewhere. Like I thought I had.
No, yeah. Maybe one day it'll be something where we create some sort of demand where it's like they're hidden.
I think it's better to have it on YouTube nowadays. Here, could you pop that door? Margot's trying to escape behind you. I don't know if you hear her. And then boom, you can shut it again now. But Loose Ends, that movie, Noah, he was telling me he plans on putting it on YouTube. He's got like 10,000 subscribers on YouTube or something crazy. He's got a bunch of subscribers. But it's because he's been posting video content on there for a long time. So to me, it's like a no-brainer. Like, what are you even waiting for? Just put it on YouTube right away.
If there's already an audience, it's like, might as well.
Yeah, you have people. And the thing is, like, he's already on the right track because he already wants to put it on YouTube. Like, that's his idea to do that. And I think any filmmaker should be thinking about it's like how comedians do specials on YouTube now. It's like it's not 2010 anymore. You can put your film on YouTube. Like full that's movie. Probably better. Full movie.
Full movie.
There
full
are
access.
Full old movies on YouTube, and one of the best parts is just looking at the comment section of like Top Gun. Dude.
Yeah. I'm a sucker for just when people drop the full movie.
Yeah, me too.
I got a playlist.
And like the classics now, it's like stuff from the 70s or 80s. Like they don't even police half that shit, so you just can find it on YouTube sometimes.
Yeah,
you can just find it. It'd be like, oh, full movie Citizen Kane. You're like, what? It's on YouTube?
I'll watch this. I'll throw this on.
Now, like in my older age, because I used to watch movies in an abysmal fashion. I used to watch movies. I would sit there in like. The thing for my school was ITC. It was like a news class, but the class wasn't like the news class. It was like the computer class, whatever it is. Like you're working on the school news program. So I'm in that class, but I swear to you, like I felt like because I was on their internet, there was no risk. So I would just go to as someone I know, it wasn't me. They would go to these websites and just watch movies during the class, and like. He would wear his headphones and be watching like Neighbors 2 in a separate tab, really just watching the movie, but not watching the movie. That's the thing. I've seen so many movies this way. Like, what was that movie where they were getting all the priests? Spotlight. If you ever heard of that.
Excellent movie.
Yeah. But this is how I experienced it. It was how I just described it to you. So I feel like I haven't seen that movie. But if I watched it, I'd be like, oh, this is all very familiar. I remember this guy crying and breaking down in the diner. I remember that.
I feel like a lot of people watch movies like that now, or TV too.
And that's the whole thing. Is like I just feel like in my maturity, I realized I want to watch the movie. I have a giant TV here. I want to watch it in the best possible quality. Yeah. I want to blow that shit up. That's what a theater is for. Like you want to blow up a movie if you can.
You want to soak it in.
Yes. Like I'm willing to sacrifice some movies. Like I'll type in free movies on YouTube and I'll go through those playlists and I just think like, is this movie good enough for me to save it for later, or should I just watch it on my phone?
That's fair. And you know, a lot of times they aren't worth sitting through the entire thing, and
or it's just not worth, like, it's you know, like, I'm on the train, it's convenient for me to watch a movie. I guess I'm just going to watch this right now. I wouldn't want to watch, like, Terminator for the first time on my fucking phone.
No, don't do that.
That's what I'm saying, but people will do that. Or, like, you know what people do now? They'll watch, like, a video explaining a movie on YouTube as their way of watching the movie.
It's sad. I mean, people do it. I've done it before.
I don't even watch trailers just because I don't like knowing anything before going into any story.
I mean, that's good.
I try to stay as far away from anything as I can.
I want to say that sometimes you get lucky and you get a trailer that's really good.
Sometimes, but it's rare. It's ever more rare than it's ever been.
Yeah.
Because there's not much nuance to trailers.
No.
It's like, and you know what I hate about trailers is if you pay attention, the third act, the climax of the trailer is the third act and the climax of the movie. They use shots from the end every time, and it's like, well, why would you show me that?
They want to be able to. They got
the money shot.
Butts and seats. Yeah,
it's the money shot. You got to show the money shot.
And if we think trailers are bad now, I mean, before you could rewatch trailers constantly, the old days, the 70s and stuff, they would just show just whole scenes of the movie.
Yeah,
and that it seems a lot worse. But also, it's like, you know, they didn't expect people to, like, you know, hey dude, they pull their phone out, check out this trailer for, you know, the fucking this Charles Bronson movie.
It's a great point. Like, that's so far before any of that. But even in the 80s and 90s, trailers had already found their way, and that's still before that. Like, before trailers really, I mean, I guess television coming around and, like, maybe the, like, 80s probably blew that up a lot.
Yeah.
The way that films were perceived. But even, yeah, I guess it would probably be, a lot of it would be media. It would be television changing the way that trailers would.
Easy access.
Yeah.
And time.
And I still think, like, there's always been good trailers. Like, there's always a great trailer every now and then that'll remind people, like, oh, it's possible.
It's an art form.
There was that horror movie with Nicolas Cage. It was A24, and the movie didn't do very well, but the trailer did great. If anybody remembers or knows what I'm talking about. Longlegs, I want to say.
Oh, yeah.
Did I get it right?
I caught that trailer. We were seeing something else, and I was at the theater. So I caught that trailer at the theater. I'm like, this looks really good.
Yup.
Very creepy movie.
And you didn't really know much about the movie either.
Yeah.
It gave you just enough to be like, what the fucking Nicolas Cage?
That was awesome.
And I guess the movie was not great. I didn't see the movie, but everyone who's seen it has told me, it was underwhelming is the response I get.
I had the feeling when I walked out that it didn't stick the landing for that third act, but...
Oh, you saw it?
I did.
Okay.
I seen that movie twice. Actually, I like it a lot. But I don't know if it's something where I would be like, you know,
yeah,
it's the next Exorcist.
And the problem, I think, is the hype from the trailer, because everybody saw the trailer and they're like, oh my god, what is this going to be? And it was probably just a regular horror movie. It wasn't
more art housey, Silence of the Lambs. But
I would like it.
The director,
Nicolas Cage was good.
Nicolas Cage is great. He's under a lot of makeup in it, so he looks very different. But the way the movie was made, the way that it looks, the style, I think, kind of helps propel it.
Yeah,
make it a little bit different. The director is that's Anthony Perkins from Psycho. That's his son.
Oh,
Osgood Perkins.
No shit.
Yeah, which is very fascinating. And then I think he's just churning stuff out now. He's putting out a lot of quality, weird kind of original style movies. Like, he did a Stephen King adaptation last year, I think. It was called The Monkey.
No.
And
everyone's favorite Stephen King novel.
Yeah, right up there, right past Salem's Lot.
Yeah.
Right up there. I think it's a short story. And it was very much like a Final Destination-y kind of, if you wind up the monkey and it starts playing the drums, it's like a little toy. Mm-hmm. Someone dies from some Rube Goldberg style death where, you know,
like Final Destination.
Final Destination, basically, but just funnier.
Yeah.
Even though those movies are hilarious.
Those movies are so stupid. Like so the newest one, they're shameless now. They don't even try. Like, what's funny is, I think it's just kind of all sequel IP, like, what happens in the end. But the newest Final Destination is just gore porn, just like watch people die. It literally is. Whereas the first one, at least, like they were trying, they had like a story, they were trying to make it all make sense. Yeah. Even all the way through like the fourth one, where they try to bring it all and tie it all back, like it all comes full circle some fucking how. The twist is. But I don't want to reveal the fact that it even becomes like it's like the Saw movies where they end up. The Saw movies are the ultimate. Actually, I think the Saw movies are the opposite of what I'm talking about. I actually think that those are phenomenal until a certain point. Like the amount of convoluted that story gets because you had nothing. Like the guy died the third movie. What the fuck are you guys gonna do? It's like no, he didn't die. You know, they just start fucking rolling the dice.
Yeah, they're finding like tape recorders in his body during the autopsy. I fuck with that so hard. It's so corny.
Yeah, exactly. What a choice to make, right?
What a choice. It's a lot. Those are a lot of fun because it is just a massive soap opera.
Yeah.
And I remember when those were coming out, they would screen all the previous ones in theaters. Leading up. They would do it every year. Because it was an October release for those movies, so it was like Halloween. Halloween is Saw. What a blast! What a blast!
When was the first Saw? Like 2002?
Yeah, that is fresh post 9/11 anxiety right there.
Yeah, right.
And, it's like a Abu Ghraib inspired madness, violence, torture, paranoia. Ends justify the means style shit.
See, I haven't seen the first Saw in a long time. I bet it would be the same kind of thing I'm talking about, where it's like it kind of becomes gore porn, but the first one's kind of more of a psychological thriller, like oh, what are these guys gonna do? And also a bottle episode type of thing, which is cool that you managed to do that for that type of movie.
I would highly recommend watching any behind the scenes documentary you could on that very first one.
Yeah,
just the story of how it came together and all that.
Yeah.
But you're right. The first one's more like a...
Well, that's how it always is.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one's the passion project for everything. Almost everything. Unless there was this long-term plan and they actually had a plan.
Yeah.
Every time the first one's kind of like where you can really see what the idea was. Like same thing with like Freddy Krueger, I would say. You can look at the first Nightmare on Elm Street and that was kind of the idea. And then it just became all this other shit over time. But really the first one was what it was supposed to be.
Yep.
And like I think like when people talk about Freddy Krueger being like, oh, he was a predator, he wasn't a predator. The whole point is that it's ambiguous in the first movie. The whole point is that they didn't tell you, but it was heavily implied. So that like dude, the fucking cell phone thing where you dude, come on. Like they're telling you. But he's just a freak. He's motherfucker's a sexual freak. That's what they're trying to say.
And they turn him into basically Mickey Mouse during the 80s and 90s.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden he's cracking jokes and spinning around.
It's like he's what? A fucking sexual degenerate and murderer.
And so, but like Jason starts as just this campground guy, and all of a sudden he's like a mutant in space shoving people in ice.
Yeah. That starts to jump the shark. But I mean, I think... there's nothing when something goes off the rails like that. I think it's okay to still enjoy. It's still fun to enjoy.
It's not
that
bad.
stuff.
I just feel like what I'm saying, like the original's the passion project.
The purity.
If you want to know where it really started, you got to go back to the first one because all this other stuff is just people. Almost every time, unless there's this long-term plan. Like what's interesting now is I can't remember who told me. I want to say it was Steve-O, but maybe it was somebody else. How like you have to do a horror character backwards now, where like it used to be that you had to like make a Freddy Krueger or a Jason. You make these characters and then they move forward with that IP and that thing. Yeah. But now the studio's not going to fund that type of movie. They're not going to fund your like original horror monster movie, but they will fund something else where you then inject the character and then the character gets attention and then you do like a Terrifier movie where it's not quite about the character but it is about the character, and then through that you actually get to explore the character with each subsequent film. You get deeper and deeper into it, and by the time you're on the fourth one you have a whole fleshed out character that people are behind. Same thing with like if you're familiar with Zach Cregger, how he just did the movie Weapons.
Oh yeah, great movie.
Awesome movie. And now he's going to do a Gladys movie, which is the girl from Weapons. Like he's making... and I saw him say it in interviews that he was trying to do that. But now it's confirmed, and they're really going to do it.
I'm a little worried, but
me too. But it's kind of what I'm saying, where it's like you wouldn't even be able to make the GLaDOS movie from the start. You'd need a movie like Weapons to even make that, to fund it in the first place.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's just got a good enough idea behind it that he's willing to do it, and it's not just going to be. Because what would you even say? Because it's, well, again, like the Passion Project thing, where the first movie, Weapons, is great, and then you have a GLaDOS movie where it's like, oh, did we have to do this? Did we really need to
shameless money grab, basically?
But it could be great, because, I mean, so far his track record's good. So far he seems to have a good idea of what he's trying to do. Like, he's going to do... I think it's Silent Hill. I think he's doing the next Silent Hill movie.
Oh, he's doing a Silent Hill movie?
It's either that or Resident Evil. I don't know, but I want to say it was Silent Hill. Let me look it up so I don't... Because it's one of the two, and it does matter which, right? But he's confirmed to do it, unless the project got dropped or something like that.
I mean, I'd be very interested to see what he does. I really
it's Resident Evil is what it is.
Resident Evil?
Yeah, it's Resident Evil. It's a reboot directed by Zach Cregger, set for a September 18th, 2026 release. So this year.
Whoa.
So yeah, it's well underway. I didn't realize it was that far along already.
See, Resident Evil, very different vibes from the games compared to the movies that we grew up with.
Yeah. Yeah, they're notoriously like that.
Notoriously
so when he was
different.
talking about it in interviews, I remember him saying, like, I know that nobody's done it right. I wouldn't have taken this if I didn't feel like I had a good way of approaching it. So you sounded like it was the type of confidence you'd want to hear from somebody making a video game adaptation film. Because all of these things you really want somebody who at least gets what the game is. That's what you need. Because otherwise, what are we even doing?
Sometimes I do like the deviation though. Sometimes because you might get something interesting.
Yes, but the problem is,
even if it's bad,
I think it's possible, but mostly what has happened is it'll be a bunch of celebrities starring in this video game adaptation film, and it doesn't really ever like now you have the Borderlands movie, you got the Minecraft movie. Yeah. I don't know if there's another good example.
Last time I was here, we talked about Uncharted.
Uncharted's another good one.
I think we talked about it, and I was like, that's very much like
they just throw I would say Super Mario, the Super Mario movie, because it's like you could have gotten the voice actors from the games, and I don't think kids care. Kids don't care if fucking Chris Pratt and Jack Black. They actually don't care that much. They just want to see Mario.
Yes.
So they would go see that movie, but these people are so backwards in their thinking. They think, oh no, the only way that anybody's going to want to go see the Super Mario movie is if we have Chris Pratt as Mario and we have Bowser as Jack Black's actually a solid pick. That one's a solid pick. But so many of it, it's like Anya Taylor-Joy is fucking Princess Peach. Why? And we're never going to see her. Just have the voice actor. You know how good that would be for a voice actor's career to be in the Mario movie? Yes. It's animated.
Yes.
Nobody fucking cares. But this is what I'm talking about, and that's how they film, or that's how they plan, that's how they film, that's how they write, all this shit. And I think that's so backwards. It's just not storytelling. Now it's like we're trying to make this movie that's going to appeal to this certain mass audience, and you're forgetting the niche audience of the actual fucking IP that you're adapting.
Exactly.
So all the people that like Minecraft, all the people that actually enjoy Borderlands are going to go see these movies and be like, what the fuck was that? And then repeatedly over time they get made fun of, and they get like, and nobody likes these movies that much. Now I can't remember if it was you that told me, it was probably somebody else, that Hollywood's always 3 years behind. Was it you that said it? It was someone else, but that's a great way to look at it. Maybe I just saw that on YouTube, on some random guy's video.
It was my video.
It was you. It was you on YouTube. But it was, they said Hollywood is always 3 years behind. So what you're always going to see, I think it was the guy, The Critical Drinker, actually. I want to say that was him on YouTube. Now that I went through my memory lane just a second ago.
It makes sense, though, because they have to develop the thing from scratch, and
that's how a script works. You have a script, you have production, you have advertising. It takes about 2 to 3 years to release a film. So what you're always going to see is these trends are behind schedule. So like how Hollywood or Disney just did the Snow White movie, and see, I don't know if this theory holds up, but like they keep doing these live action remakes, and they always do bad every single time. But the Snow White one was like the absolute train wreck. And so I was surprised they were even doing them then, but maybe it's that thing. Maybe they're just behind schedule. They had the Snow White movie. It's been filmed. We already had all that whole dwarf controversy. We got to just drop the film and get it over with.
they're always, and it's just the way that those things develop and how long how long it takes to put everything together.
Yeah,
that makes sense. And then you compare that to something like a B movie where they don't have all the money and they need to do it quickly.
Yeah,
it's easier for B movie and exploitation filmmakers to kind of take advantage of the now because they turn the movie around so quickly that oh, we got to make a movie that is about COVID or exploiting the COVID pandemic. Well, they do it in like a couple months and then suddenly the movie's out there.
Yeah.
So I mean,
whereas like Eddington just came out.
Yeah, Eddington comes out and I'm like, fuck, man.
Remember that?
And
you wrote
Nobody
it when
wanted
COVID was
to remember
happening.
that.
No, yeah. I haven't seen it. Was it good?
So I did when during Christmas break, I started doing like the catch-ups on movies, and that was one of them. It was that, and then I watched Civil War and
which one?
One Battle After Another.
Civil War. I was thinking Captain America Civil War. Dude, that's a while ago.
the other fictional Civil War.
You mean the one where Jesse Plemons was being Todd again?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, let me watch the depressing, social conscious films that came out. And I remember
who directed Civil War? Was it a notable director?
Alex Garland.
Okay,
so that's the guy.
His name sounds really familiar to me.
He wrote the 28 Days Later movies, and then he did Ex Machina, which is a great AI.
Oh, that was him.
That's
a fantastic film.
Annihilation. He adapted the book Annihilation. It was like a alien kind of movie
where they're going through that place and it becomes more and more anomalies.
Yeah, very Lovecraftian. And then I remember when he was doing the press for Civil War, he's like, I don't want to fucking make movies anymore. I was like, oh no. And I actually enjoyed that film. I remember people shitting on it because it's like, it's not taking a specific political side. And it's like, after watching, I'm like, I feel like the fact that it's a Civil War in America is more like the backdrop for what the movie is really about, which is being desensitized to violence and war. And it's mostly from the journalists and war photographers' perspective. Eddington, though, is like a fever dream nightmare. So I guess it's kind of appropriate that it is the movie that's based off the lockdowns and
a fever dream
coronavirus.
Nightmare, you would say.
Especially the third act, which I don't want to spoil anything, but it spoiled the third act, but it gets really bizarre. And a lot of people shit on that movie. I still don't know how to 100% feel about it, but I felt as though... I still feel Ari Aster has a lot of interesting things to say as a filmmaker, but I think with each project it becomes more and more divisive.
Yeah.
He has a what was it? I think he was accused of not taking specific sides again. One of those guys that's like accused of being a fence sitter when it comes to talking about social issues through film and art. How
do you feel about Yorgos Lanthimos? Have you seen a lot of his movies? I feel like he's another person who has changed over time in strange ways.
Yes, the last one because he's made a couple movies. The last one I saw of his was I think The Favorite. So I'm not caught up yet.
I saw that. I've seen that. So I've seen probably want to see 3 or 4 of his movies. My favorite one was Poor Things. If you haven't seen that, that's a pretty good one.
That's on my list.
So that was the first one he did with Emma Stone, I think. No, it wasn't. I think The Favorite was the first one with Emma Stone, actually.
He loves Emma Stone. He's worked with her a couple times now.
Yeah, and you want to track down the beginning. I think it's The Favorite, but it's been what? That's 2018, so it's been almost 10 years since that movie. So they've just been making movies forever, which is, if you understand the film industry at all, makes perfect sense. Like why directors pick actors, because like it makes your life easier. That's literally what's going on. They just decide, you know what, you're the easiest person I could ever work with. I'm just going to work with my friends and keep it that way forever. Like if you were a director, you would do the same thing.
Yeah, you work with who you like working with. You have a shorthand with them. You're like, I know how to talk to them. Or,
well, and you think about like the great directors throughout history, like the great pairings throughout history. Like you couldn't even have one without the other in a lot of ways. Like a De Niro and a Scorsese. Like you need those two to be together for each of them to be at their fullest potential.
Yeah, they know each other so well that and it makes the process easier. It probably makes it more fun.
Well, that's exactly it. I think it's like not even just how good they are as an actor. It's like the back and forth you have with the person, like if you guys mesh well, you know, like the same wavelength type of thing, because you're working with them so often. If you're really working with an actor all the time,
it saves you time.
Yeah, it saves you everything.
Saves you all the time.
Saves you money.
It saves you the money.
Yeah. So, but The Favorite was really good. The Favorite was actually one of my, I want to say out of the ones I've seen of his movies, I think I liked it the least. But I didn't dislike it. It was just, all of his movies are weird in different ways. Like, I can never predict what kind of weird it's going to be. Poor Things was very good, because, like, the best thing I could say about it is it's like, I would say it's like an actually powerful feminine or a feminist movie in a way. Like, it's a good way to make a feminist argument, in my opinion, because I feel like there's so many, like, there's so much out there where it's kind of just more of a virtue signal of, like, you know, we're not equal and this is what's wrong with the world, but it's never like an empowerment story. And I think with storytelling and all these things, you have an opportunity to do something constructive, and I don't see that a lot of the time. Whereas I feel like a movie like Poor Things, the way that it approaches that type of narrative of, like, a woman in this world and her developing agency and taking power and all these things, it actually does it in a way where, like, I couldn't even believe that it managed to do that, because it's also just a freak movie. But it managed to tell the story. And it also tells, like, a family story along the way. But it's through a Frankenstein narrative where this guy, you know, moved a brain over and made a daughter or something.
It looked insane. I definitely want to check that out. We got a lot of Frankenstein stuff going on.
I didn't see the new Frankenstein movie, but I've heard it's good. The Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah. But I haven't seen a whole... I saw Hellboy not that long ago. I didn't love it. But I don't know. Maybe it's just like if I saw it in 2006, I would have a whole different opinion. Or maybe it's just not... But I didn't love it. But it was okay. And so I feel like I get Guillermo del Toro's thing by now. And I don't know if it, like... I don't know if it's resonated with me so far. I have to watch another one of his movies. I'll get back to you guys.
If I could recommend any, I'd probably recommend, like, maybe Pan's Labyrinth or something like that.
That's the big one. That's like the big cookie right there. The big kahuna.
That's his passion project. They're all kind of his passion projects. Mm-hmm. He's an interesting filmmaker. I mean, everything he's making is at least interesting. The last Frankenstein was pretty good. It's a bit long. But that's also, like, something where even he's admitted out loud, like, this is what I want to make. This character is basically me.
Didn't he do Pinocchio a couple years ago?
Yeah. I actually got to check that out at the Music Box, and he did, like, a phone-in Q&A.
Oh, cool.
Which was really cool. And loves animation, loves stop motion. So he's a big Ray Harryhausen fan, so he loves, like, the old-school ways that people used to animate stuff for genre movies. And then one of my blind spots with Guillermo del Toro's movies was I'd never seen his first film until, like, maybe a couple weeks ago. I seen his first movie, Cronos. Mm-hmm. And that was, like, the first, like, movie where he like risked it all to get it made. It's essentially a vampire movie, and it kind of reinvents the vampire myth. And I remember looking up stuff about it. It was, like, the most expensive Mexican film at the time. He went into, like, incredible credit card debt for the film. It was not financially successful, but it was, like, critically acclaimed. So that's how he was able to claw up to the next couple movies. But that was, like, Ron Perlman's actual, like, breakout actor movie. Because before that, he was, like, the Beast from Beauty and the Beast. And I think he was, like, in a movie where he played a caveman. So people had basically written him off. And then Del Toro was like, I'll put you in my movie. And I would recommend it. I watched it, like, through the Criterion Channel. So it's, like, long since been hailed as, like, a culturally relevant classic movie. And yeah, no matter what he's working on, at least it's going to be interesting because he pours himself into everything he does.
Yeah.
He's, like, you know, one of the few legit auteur directors out there that has, like, a unique thing to say or a unique vision. Frankenstein's good. I remember he was really hardcore advocating for theaters. Come on, guys, go out to the theaters. The movie just found fucking Netflix, like, in zero time. I think it played, like, select theaters.
Yeah.
Which is, it's sad when when the studios are like, yeah, you know, you made a masterpiece. No one's gonna go see this. That sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. But it's, at the same time, you know, Great movie. Was it my favorite Del Toro movie? No. I might have to give the award at Hellboy only because I was like the right age when that came out.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was thinking. Like if I had just seen this, I was 8, so it would have been perfect, you know.
It scratched the itch, dude. It was like a mix of all the things I like.
Yeah.
It had monsters. It was basically Men in Black, but it somehow felt better.
Is it kind of Men in Black? Is it kind of the same story?
Kinda. I mean, it's dealing with secret government agency dealing with blank.
Yeah.
So as opposed to like aliens from space, he's dealing with like Lovecraftian eldritch horrors and like, mythological legends, and Nazis.
Yeah.
So it's like he's dealing with all this stuff.
And he's a demon, and he's also a demon.
And he's also a demon who shaves his horns, which is like fucking awesome. And that's a movie where it's like they did the 2, and then there was a reboot with David Harbour, which people shit on. I thought it was okay. I thought it was pretty cool. And then there was a more recent one, which I've not seen, but is almost certainly an attempt for the company to retain the rights, as companies will do, to retain the rights to a specific, property. They'll just produce something.
Yeah.
And this last one they produced was like a low-budget horror movie, where Hellboy's basically doing the detective thing, but it's like you look at the trailer and you're like, clearly there's no money behind this, but they want to retain their rights, which happens. Like they've done it with Fantastic Four in the past. We're like, the time's coming. Like we might lose the rights to something that we could make money with if we gave a shit.
Yeah.
So they just like churn out something to hold on to their rights. One of my favorite stories about that is Warren Beatty. Warren Beatty has owned the rights to the newspaper comic character Dick Tracy for like years. He made a big movie in the 90s to chase the Batman train. It was Danny Elfman did the music, and it was the Dick Tracy adaptation. Woefully underrated movie. One of the last movies to use just a ton of matte paintings. A lot of Art Deco cool vibes going on in that movie. But he only made the one movie. Mm-hmm. And then when time comes for him to have to like give up the rights, or he's going to lose the rights, he goes ahead and he makes like not even a movie to retain the rights. He did an interview with I think it was Charlie Rose, maybe, or it was like a TCM interview I think he did as the character, so it only technically counts as him retaining the rights. I think he's done that twice now. But at a certain point, just let somebody else make the fucking thing, just like let someone else. Because if you're not making money with it anyway, what are you doing? Are you terrified someone's going to bastardize this IP? And that's why eventually, like, Fantastic Four, like, they just eventually were like, yeah, you know what, we fucked it up enough times. We're just going to give it to...
But some people are like Martin Shkreli, They just want to buy it just to hang on to it.
That's the name I haven't heard in a long time.
Dude, he bought...
It's like Voldemort.
It's like a Wu-Tang album and then just hoarded it from everybody. He's like, you guys are never going to hear this classic Wu-Tang unreleased.
That's disgusting, dude.
I mean, what a fucking power play,
It's a total psychosis. What compels you to do such a thing?
But that's like the, hoarding a thing for no reason. Like, it doesn't even make sense. Like, why would you even want to keep it? Like, what's the point? Just let somebody else do it. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, finally they caved with Fantastic Four, at least. I haven't seen that new one, but at a certain point they were just like, you know what, you could probably make money with this.
Yeah.
Something interesting will come out of this.
I am interested, but what I kind of hate about all of it is I feel like Marvel, more than ever, is just banking on nostalgia. It's all they've got. Yeah. It's literally their entire business model now.
Yeah, remember when?
We're way beyond it just being... fun, contained movies. Now it's like, remember this thing and how these things connect, and hey, we're going to put 4 movies in one movie. You guys like when we put 3 movies in one movie? Now we're going to put 4 in one. Now we're going to put 10 in one. And like, you guys liked Avengers? Well, you think Avengers is good. Remember all those people we killed off? We're going to bring back 5 of them. And we're going to also have some new people, but we're going to focus on the 5 from the movie you watched 15 years ago. Like, because that's what they're doing. Now they keep dropping these trailers, and it's like, oh, new Avengers trailer. But it's just the guy that you thought was gone because it was the end. You ended the Captain America thing. You ended it good. Like, they can't even accept that they had a good ending. Like, and it wasn't a great ending, but it was good enough. It's like
good.
he's passing the torch. Same thing with Iron Man. It's like, okay, Iron Man's gone. They killed him. He really died. Well, it makes sense because it's the end of this whole thing.
Wait, are they bringing back Chris Evans as Captain America?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes.
They should have just let, like, he turned into Joe Biden and passed the torch. They should have just
Isn't that a good enough ending?
Yeah.
Isn't that good enough? But no, in the trailer, it's like, because that was the first trailer they dropped for the new, you had to go to the Avatar movie. And if you went to Avatar, you would get the first ever Avengers trailer. If you people were going to Avatar and just leaving after the trailer. People were going as far as doing that.
The fact they got to do that, though, you know what? The fact that they have to do something like that gives me hope, because that means that culturally we are beginning to reject it.
Well, I think, though, that their reasoning was they don't want the trailer to leak immediately, and so they did it that way, so that way you would have to go to a specific screening to see it, rather than it just being before anything.
Which is I like the gimmick, but I feel like you resort to gimmicks like that when you need the gimmick.
See, but like, even the gimmick of nostalgia, that points it out to me. It's like, you clearly don't have anything else. Like, that's that's the one card they keep pulling. They did a Thor one, and now they did an X-Men one. It's just a bunch of trailers of things from previous IPs, like, oh, look what's going to be in the movie. Oh, look what else is going to be in the movie. Oh, look what else. And it's just a bunch of stuff you already have seen before. And that's what they're banking on. They don't want to make a new thing, because they already tried that with all these shows, and they all went so bad. It was like they just didn't understand what they were even doing wrong, And so they're just going back to their old ways now, hoping that we'll just forgive them. But once the new Avengers comes out, it's over. That's what I think.
It's over. It's the literal doomsday.
It's the literal doomsday, because once it comes out, they already have like their next 5 years planned, but the movie's going to come out and it'll be panned. Maybe it won't be. Maybe it'll be just good enough. But I just think the writing's on the wall, because it's one of those things where we've already seen all this shit go wrong or surrounding the movie, where I would be amazed if it's good. Like, it was supposed to, they already had a whole narrative arc planned out of like Khan and how this guy who's going, or Kang, Emperor Kang, he's going between all these different universes, and he's a bigger threat than Thanos because he can just be somebody else, and you never know who he is in this world. And you crafted this character, this like crazy villain, and then like real life gets in the way, and Disney just fires him immediately. And
just
then
recast him.
Just recast him. But instead of recasting him, they reach in that nostalgia bucket and they pull out a Robert Downey Jr. And
Jonathan Majors was Kang, right?
Jonathan Majors, yeah.
We fucking, as a culture, we just memory hold that guy.
So I looked into it recently because I was on the phone with my sister, and she was saying like how, because I was saying to her like, I think it's dumb they got rid of him so quickly before anything had really, like, the allegations had really sunk in. And then she said, well, like, how, like, what do you know? How do you know that? Da, 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 da. So I looked it up because I was thinking, well, I guess, how do I know that? Did I actually look it up? And so I remember looking it up, and it was like, there was one allegation against him it was all from one girl, if I'm correct. And it was like, there's a video of him in downtown LA or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And he's with the girl, and she's chasing him, and he's running away. And then there's a clip of him like putting her in a car, but she hits her head on the car as she gets in the car. And these are the two videos, as far as I know, that's all the only footage. And then there's like a shot of her, like a police shot of her with like a bruise or something. And I want to say I read something about like,
there were leaked text messages, I think, too.
Oh, really? See, I don't know anything about that, but I remember I saw something about like a police officer had coached her to say that he did this, this, and this. I don't know how true that is either.
The situation,
but it all murky. Seems weird.
It's murky because
and he's a celebrity. So if you're a celebrity,
the verdict,
exactly.
The verdict was like, I don't remember. I think the verdict was like a weird, some sort of weird stalemate. I don't think that.
I think he was convicted of one thing, but I think the other thing ended up being settled.
Someone out
there. I think that's what I saw. Well, I looked it up just recently. I looked it up so I should know.
Google it.
Well, like, and this is why you have producers and you have people looking things up on a show. But I felt confident enough to say all this information just because I really did just look this up like a week ago.
No, yeah, same. Because we were watching. So I was hanging out with Tim and a couple other buddies, and I don't know how it came up. Maybe because we were talking about Marvel.
Yeah.
And we mentioned Kang the Conqueror. Now, mind you, when all that Kang the Conqueror stuff was happening, I was already checked out. I think when Endgame happened, I was done. But
Yeah.
I at least knew enough that I knew things were happening, like Ant-Man and
I mean,
the Loki TV
I
show.
watched the YouTube videos explaining what Kang was doing in Loki.
Just to catch up and be like, I don't want to watch all that fucking shit. I don't want to at least know what's happening.
Yeah.
But
It's like Kingdom Hearts.
there's
It's
like 7 people in the room, and I'm like, hey guys, remember what happened? The Jonathan Majors thing? Nobody knew who he was.
oh, really?
And I was just like, I had to think for a second, like, did we just like delete him?
Poor guy. Yeah.
Like we were setting him up. He was being set up as like Thanos Part 2.
Yep.
Like there were like this,
And he was doing a great job, like
he was
on
everywhere,
screen.
and he was a great actor.
Yeah.
It seemed like he was for a minute. He was everywhere.
Yeah,
a
and
minute
he
he was
was
everywhere.
that was the plan, and that's why the only reason I even brought it up too is because it all goes back to why is the new Avengers not going to be good? Because they last minute rewrote the whole thing. Obviously,
Yes.
like they had this whole plan, and they were planting seeds, doing all this. How they did in Phase 1, they're starting it over from scratch, but. All of those seeds you planted just got retconned out of nowhere.
They should have just recasted him, dude.
And they could have just recasted him, but instead, and you have a character who shapeshifts. Just recast him.
It's his whole gimmick. There's all sorts of versions. It's literally the multiverse bad guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, bring in another guy and just say like, I needed a cosmetic change.
I'm interested to see how they explain the whole Robert Downey Jr. is Doom. I think they're just going to go with the cheapest possible explanation, which is he just happens to look like that. He just happens to look and sound exactly like your previous Captain America did.
Bizarre world Tony Stark.
There's a way you could explain it in narrative that would be smart, but that's like above my pay grade. I don't know what it is.
I would argue that you would almost certainly be within the pay grade to come up with this.
I don't know, because it seems just, it's such a stupid idea from the jump. Like, you don't take because they're only doing it, because again, it's not storytelling. They're not doing a storytelling choice. They're doing well, Robert Downey Jr. is going to sell tickets choice. And so then you're doing it backwards. It's like, okay, well, having that being known, how then do we take the character of Doom and make him Robert Downey Jr., who all these characters are going to recognize? We can't ignore that.
They're just going to say it's another dimension version of...
Exactly, which is the lamest possible way to explain it. Like, if you found a way to like... Oh, well, somehow it is Tony Stark's caricature, like, face. Like, it is Tony Stark, but it's Tony Stark for a reason. Like, for some reason, he assumed the Dr. Doom realized it would be psychological torture if he assumed...
Like, that would actually be interesting. I don't think they're going to do that.
But wouldn't that... See, I just did it. It is my pay grade.
You should be getting paid for this.
That's how you do it, because then it's like he made the choice to fuck with them and look like their friend, which is going to cause them to like hesitate and make the wrong choices.
The stakes are non-existent because you could bring anyone back, and the plotting is convoluted. So unfortunately, it is literally just comic books now, because as much as I love comic books... As much as I love comics for the most part, you know, I've never been a giant superhero fan, but in superhero comics, they do it all the time, because what's more important than fulfilling an actual arc in the comic book industry is selling the next issue.
Yeah. Yeah,
so it's like
and you don't actually kill anybody off. You don't actually end any story.
Never.
I mean, that's what the multiverse is kind of for.
It's the biggest cheat code ever.
Yeah.
And there's elements of it that are fun, but it's fun in the cheapest way possible, which is nostalgia, which we were just talking about. Which is like the Spider-Man movie. They brought back all the Spider-Mans.
Which was a great choice, I think.
It was fun.
They're going to learn the wrong lesson from it, and that's what's bad.
They brought back my boy Toby from the Sam Raimi movies.
That was so fantastic to me.
I was just like, you know, that was the right move to get me in the theater.
Yeah, me too.
But I've never seen it since, and I'll probably never sit through it again.
I have seen it on cable since, and also, I think just on TV. I think I've seen it like on the TV a couple times. It's okay. I've rewatched some clips on YouTube. Like I did rewatch the clip of them just all talk. Like the 3 Spider-Man scenes are the best scenes in the whole movie. Like the scene where they're all like preparing for battle towards the end and they're all just chatting and they're talking about like, wait a minute, you like make your webs? That's great.
Like that, yeah, all that stuff's awesome. And then they've got all the bad guys from the other movies.
Yeah.
Somehow Jamie Foxx's character doesn't have the comb over anymore. They just made him cool, normal Jamie Foxx because they gave him like buck teeth and glasses in the Amazing Spider-Man movie, which is a choice.
Yeah. But, then I would say also bringing back the greatest Spider-Man villain in the cinematic universe of all time. The greatest 2, I would even argue, Doc Ock and then Green Goblin, both of them, Willem Dafoe, and the de-aging didn't look too bad on, is it Antonio, what's his name, the other guy? I don't want to get his name mixed up.
For Doc Ock?
Yeah.
Alfred Molina, yeah.
Yes. So his makeup, or not makeup, but the CGI on his face looked good enough.
And they were true to those characters in terms of the other movies, because Doc Ock is like, that guy was, he redeems himself. Spoiler alert for Spider-Man 2. But like he redeems himself, so he's like a good guy, and then like they were accurate to those characters.
Yeah.
It's just that the movies lack a specific artistic vision ultimately.
Yes.
The OG Spider-Man movies, those are Sam Raimi movies. Mm-hmm. That is an auteur. There is a specific vision going on there. There's a style going on there. The modern Marvel-verse movies are kind of just, styleless. They exist. There's nothing. I couldn't tell you who directed any of these things, except with only a few exceptions. Like
Sam Raimi again.
Sam Raimi doing like Doctor Strange. Like you watch that last Doctor Strange, you're like, okay, this is a Sam Raimi movie. But
I think that's where they went wrong. Was a lot of that, and I mean it's been that way from the start. But that's why, funny enough, Edward Norton was only in the first Hulk movie because he's known for fucking with scripts and trying to make them his own and changing it. So
they're like, we got to get you the fuck out of here. We're going to Terrence Howard you real quick.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And then immediately he was replaced with Mark Ruffalo. Immediately. Yes. They didn't have a problem with recasting back then.
I like Mark Ruffalo.
He's great, but I mean, Edward Norton was a whole different Hulk, and it's just funny how far it is from like auteur filmmaking. It's kind of the exact opposite.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like I actually think Marvel, if they weren't this way, they could benefit so much from not doing that. I mean, it's kind of an impossible problem because you have a company that's owned by Disney, ran by Disney. Disney ultimately makes all the choices. And Disney's gotten worse. So like you look at the Kingdom Hearts games. The original Kingdom Hearts games, if you don't know anything about those games, it's like Final Fantasy crossed with Disney. And originally it was like you would fight Disney bosses, you go to Disney worlds, you're in all these Disney IPs. It's very cool that it's all a thing. And then you get to the second one, you get to the third one. There's so many games. By the time you get to the third one, though, like the gap between the second and the third one's about 13 years. Second one comes out like 2007, and then the next one comes out 2020, like 2019, something like that.
Oh, recently.
Big gap, yeah.
Did they add any of the superheroes to it?
No, but that would have been interesting. Maybe they'll do it next time around, but this is the thing, right? Is going from Kingdom Hearts 2 on the PS2 in 2007, jumping all the way to Kingdom Hearts 3 on like the PlayStation 4 in 2019. The difference is that now Disney, you can't fight Disney bosses anymore. Like, and if you notice throughout the game, you'll never ever fight like a Disney villain or a Disney character, which is because Disney obviously had more involvement in this game, and they're more worried about their IPs now. So they're like, oh, we don't want you having a combat scenario with any of our characters, which ruins the game because you're playing the game and every time you get to the end of a world, it's like giant monster boss. It's like, okay, for example, you have the Monsters Inc. world, which is the first time you're going to this Monsters Inc. world throughout the entire Kingdom Hearts universe. Like we've never seen, because it was the fact that Pixar was acquired in whatever time it was. Like there was no Pixar worlds in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So you don't have it. But in Kingdom Hearts 3, you got Toy Story World, you got Monsters Inc. So there's a few different ones where it's like, oh, this is cool. It's Pixar. But you're never going to fight the fucking lizard villain it's throughout the whole thing. You're not going to fight him because Disney said no. You're going to fight somebody else. Same thing with when you go to the Tangled world. You don't fight the crazy stepmother or like anything like that. You fight this giant monster she sends at you. And then it's also, you could tell with the Pirates of the Caribbean world and a couple other things, Disney or the Pirates of the Caribbean and the Frozen world. It was so obvious that what had happened was Disney told the guy making the game, we want you to follow the narrative of the film for the game. Like, don't venture out from the narrative of the film. Just do like a bullet point thing where the player is within the narrative of the film. And then what happens is it's just super boring to play. It's like, it doesn't even make sense if you haven't seen the movie. If you play the game and you haven't seen like the third Pirates of the Caribbean movie and you haven't seen Frozen, which I haven't seen either, then it doesn't make any sense what you're playing because you're like, I don't even know who these fucking people are. And the game doesn't even try to tell you. It doesn't even try, because you can tell he didn't even want to make these worlds. He was just doing it to fulfill this contract with Disney. Yeah. So I'm interested to see how it goes to Kingdom Hearts 4, if he like steps away from Disney or if he finds a way. I think it's Nakamura that makes the games. But I'm interested to see if he finds a way to make that work, because it kind of, and it's just an example of how Disney crushes creativity with the way that they use their IPs, and they're going to do the same thing once they acquire like the AI rights to these characters, whatever they do. It's going to be the same exact thing when they what was I going to say? Whenever you see these Marvel characters in these movies, they're never gonna let a director because if they hadn't went down this road, if they hadn't went that way, you could have fucking all these amazing directors making Marvel movies, and it would be awesome. Imagine if like Tarantino made an Ant-Man movie. If like Quentin Tarantino made Ant-Man,
he just shrinks down to be near your feet all day, just on toes. You know?
So many great foot shots. Yeah. The feet would be crazy. And it'd be like the wildest dream of a foot fetish guy, just a giant foot just surrounding this little man. It's probably exactly what you want. Just squish me, step on me.
Oh, Quentin doing the Ant-Man movie.
I mean, that would be good. And maybe you have like a Scorsese doing Iron Man.
Would never happen.
Maybe in another world where Marvel never went this way and they never like crushed it. And maybe if they never got bought by Disney, maybe if somehow Disney never bought Marvel and then they made movies, it could have been different.
Yeah.
Because it's just, the problem is Disney's business model is kind of my whole point. Disney's business model is terrible and it's only gotten worse. And they've bought so much shit now that it's kind of scary because they can just do it with so much. They've owned so many things.
They own Predator and Alien now, so I guess they could show up in the Kingdom Hearts game.
Why? Yeah, but why do they own that? Why do they want that? It doesn't even make sense.
It just came with the 20th Century Fox purchase.
Oh, right. So anything from 20th Century Fox is under Disney now?
That includes the X-Men, so they're officially kind of ushering the X-Men in. And
right. I never thought about Alien and Predator.
I actually liked the last Predator movie.
I didn't see it. Was it
not
good?
At all like your standard Predator movie.
I haven't seen any of them actually. That one, the new one's called Prey, right?
The newest one is like a sci-fi fantasy epic.
What was it called?
Predator Badlands.
Oh, right. Okay.
And that's more so a just adventure film.
Yeah.
Either people like it or don't. I didn't mind it. I appreciated that they were doing something different with the Predator. But it's just fucking slasher movies basically. It's sci-fi slasher movies. They did an Alien TV show recently. I didn't think that was too bad. That was Noah Hawley that did the Fargo TV show did it. I thought it was great. I thought it was pretty interesting. That's one of those situations where I'm just like, I'm kind of glad. One of those things where I'm like, Disney can actually maybe do something with them, because both those IPs kind of stagnate a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Most of the shit I don't care about anymore. Especially when Endgame happened, I was just like, I feel like I'm out. It's just I don't know if I can do this anymore, guys.
Endgame was,
and even that wasn't that great. I mean, that was great, but it wasn't.
It wasn't that great. Yeah, I mean, Endgame was a movie that was kind of mediocre, but for what it was, like for what it represented. But Infinity War was great. Infinity War was great, but Endgame was... I feel like they did a couple things where it was like they just...
The greatest hits.
They took shortcuts, too, with like the story, because they knew they wanted to wrap this up, and they had to do it within this one movie. Like, I think it's a very stupid thing narratively to just say, oh, Tony Stark made a time travel machine. What? So you're telling me that he can just out of nowhere just come up with a time travel machine?
He built it. I think it was him and Bruce Banner built it. Right?
Yeah, that's how they chose to tell you how it happened.
I guess.
It's
I guess we'll just roll with it.
But yeah, to me, it's like that's bad storytelling because what it is you need a way to get there. So your way is, well, let's just fucking, I don't know, and makes a time machine.
It's a Pandora's box though, because it's like, you know, you do that, and then suddenly it's the what do they say? The toothpaste is out of the tube. You can't put it back in.
Exactly. Now you can make anything.
The stakes are essentially
exactly
over. So as soon as that happened, my brain just switched off. I was like, all right, so nothing matters really anymore anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean,
well, and also all those people that are dead, they're not dead because we can just go back in time.
Bring them back. Bring them back, and then they open up like, oh, there's other dimensions. Like, yeah,
it's out of it's out of the box. That's a good way to think about it because you're never going to be able to go back. And it's kind of the eternal problem of all those things is if you have a never-ending story, you have never-ending stakes, and you're going to constantly. I mean, that's how it's storytelling 101 is you have from here to here, and we want rising stakes throughout the whole thing. But what if we stretch out that story and put all these stories inside? Well, how are you going to then maintain that? And that's why Kang was supposed to be the next thing, because Kang's this universal traveler. And like, well, you've established that we have a multiverse now. So what the fuck? Who's the ultimate villain of that?
I don't know. I feel like at this point, if you go to a Marvel or massive IP movie or property, you should be prepared to not get a good story. And if you are, you might be surprised and get one. I think the major selling points are going to be, there's going to be some fun stuff. There's going to be some cool looking stuff. And I will have been able to enjoy maybe an hour or two of my time, and then I'll be done.
Yeah.
And then everything else is basically superfluous, unless there's like a deeper meaning. Unless you've got like someone that's got something to say. Like you've got like a James Gunn or somebody who's just like, this story is about my brother, or this is about me going and getting over my dad's death.
But even then, like, again, you have to break through that entire structure of how Disney gets involved.
You literally have to parse your way through committee thinking.
Like, I actually think that it's possible that Josh Trank's Fantastic Four could have been good. I think that there's a world where could have happened.
Where they go full horror.
I don't know what it was going to be.
It was like Cronenberg body horror shit going on. Like, it was like ultra serious.
Wouldn't that be cool? Because I mean, did you saw his previous movie before that where it's the kids Chronicle?
Yeah.
The kids with the camera. That's a great movie.
It's a fun movie.
And so when he was when like the news was he's gonna make Fantastic Four, I remember thinking, oh, sounds interesting. And then it ended up coming out like, oh, he was drunk on set. He was just fucking terrible. And it makes me wonder, like, because his version of the story is so different than their version. He makes it sound like...
You don't just show up drunk to set.
Exactly.
You don't just be like, oh, wow, I finally have money to make a big movie. I better get tanked before I go deal with everybody else's money.
Yeah.
It was probably more like, I have a vision for the movie, and I'm a young filmmaker, and the suits were like, stay down, final warning.
Yeah, exactly. And then you watch the movie, and
do what we say.
It's one of the worst superhero movies that exists. To the point where, like, the meme is literally... Wow, we're some kind of Fantastic Four. Like, that's a line in the movie.
Oh,
we're some kind of Fantastic Four, aren't we?
It hurts to hear it.
But it's like, delivered non-ironically in a scene that we're supposed to be feeling feelings as we watch.
Yep.
And it's,
it's a
famous actor Miles Teller on the screen. It's an interesting thing happening in that film. And it could have been good, is my point. I think it's just another one of those tales where you had a director with a vision. They came in and realized, oh, we're not going to be able to do that. They're stuck. They have a contract that they signed. It's on a piece of paper. They're there now.
You got to do the thing. Mm-hmm. Hollywood's for the birds, man. Yeah. Sorry to say.
I mean, and I just think it's such a shame because that's why we're where we are with all these things, like with the superhero movies in particular, is like we're in this shitty spot because they've just been pursuing, like, I think as soon as Disney moved over, or Marvel moved over to TV shows as the business model, is where they lost everybody. I think that's where it really happened. When they decided we're going to transfer all these things we were going to do in movies, we're going to make them shows. Streaming is where it's at.
Streaming killed everything.
Yeah, ultimately. But I think that if they didn't do that, that, they still had the theaters. Like they still would have had people going out to theaters.
Yeah.
But by doing that, they made it so many people just stopped following the narrative because they didn't watch that. I was not going to watch She-Hulk and WandaVision, and I don't have time for that. I will watch a movie. I'm not going to watch these shows.
No, it's too much.
I'll watch the bullet points of the shows. I'm not going to watch the show. Just because I want to know what's happening when you make the next movie.
Yes.
So it's annoying to me that they switched to that model because I think that lost people like me for sure. And I have to imagine most of the casual audience is like, they're not watching shows. They're watching the movies. Because that's what we signed up for.
Exactly.
That's what we signed. We all thought it was all like, oh, look, this is this one, then this one, then this one. We're finally going to get to Avengers. Okay, cool. Now we're going to do all that again. But instead, they fucking make it so it's on Disney Plus.
Maybe there'll be a shift. I mean, recently Bob Iger's out. Like, he's retired. He's no longer in charge of. He's no longer the head honcho at Disney. There's shakeups going on. I think Kathleen Kennedy is out at Star Wars. So.
That would be interesting if Disney changed. That would be a really interesting thing.
I don't think it's going to happen, but I would like to think that maybe something will happen. Last time I was here, we chatted about video game adaptations.
Yes.
And I'm a little bit more hopeful based off recent stuff, like the Fallout TV show.
Yeah, well, I think that a show is just a better way to do it. That's one thing I've realized, is like a show is more flexible to the structure. Like it's more shapeable to the structure of a video game.
Yeah, I agree.
Where a video game's not meant to be crammed down into a 2-hour sequence.
Yeah, you couldn't condense like something like that into a feature.
Yeah, but you could do a show where it's like 8 episodes, 10 episodes, and then season by season by season. You could do that. I think, again, though, it becomes a risky game you're playing because season 1 might be good, but season 2 might stray from that, and season 3 might stray from that. As the show finds its own identity, it might get further and further from the original game. That's one thing you might see.
That's true, and I think that it also depends on the game, too, because, I mean, like, something like Fallout, I think, would lend itself well to TV and adaptation, because while there are plots in those games, for the most part, it's player choice, and people come back to it for the world of it.
Yeah, you could do like a Skyrim too, for sure, or like an Elder Scrolls show.
Exactly.
You could definitely do a show. It just
takes place in the world. We kind of have our own characters, and you don't need to play the games really to enjoy it. And then that is in stark contrast to stuff like Last of Us, where it's like the Last of Us games are very much narrative structured stories, and they're just kind of remaking it for TV. It's very
It'd be
different.
like if you did Uncharted.
Yes.
Like Uncharted's already a movie.
Those are already movies. And then I think those... Really, I would like to get to a point where people were giving... Not that I care about the awards, but they should be giving awards to performances in video games.
Oh, yeah.
Like motion capture performances, the voice performances, everything. Like Last of Us is a good example. Like, great game, great story, great acting, you know... Maybe we'll get to that point, but
and there are people who like are so legendary in that industry.
We're only just now giving awards to horror movies, so and that horror movies basically started the film industry. So we're just now starting to give them some recognition. So maybe we've got another couple decades till video games start getting their own slots at the Oscars.
Yeah, I wonder how it works because I think award shows are weird, and like the major award shows are weird because generally speaking, it's just a couple people who get to decide how it works. Like a couple people get to pick who's nominated. A couple people get to pick. Like most of it's not like a People's Choice Award. So I think that it's really just up to getting those people's attention. It's kind of why I've always hated award shows because I feel, and also campaigning, like just the concept of campaigning is so stupid to me. Yep. Like it's an award show. You're supposed to be rewarding the person who did the best. You campaigning for?
It's all politics. It's basically like we'll take it back to Del Toro for a second.
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro seems to always have had issues getting financing for his movies because they're such expansive visions and they're complicated and it's difficult to pitch people on it. He won for Shape of Water, right? Shape of Water is a great movie, but it's also 100% tailored for Oscar season. It is an Oscar bait genre movie, despite it being about a woman that fucks a fish man. And what I like about his approach, because a lot of Oscar bait movies, they are designed to win Oscars, but then they will win some, and then we ultimately memory hold them, and they only ever really come up when people are bringing up the Oscars again. Well, like, what won in 2012 for this category.
Yeah.
Oscar bait movies kind of just dissolve. And oftentimes we remember specific ones that were nominated that didn't win because they have a longer lasting cultural identity. People connect more with stuff that way, which just goes to show how bullshit most of the Oscars are anyway. But Shape of Water was like, Del Toro was like, how can I create something that hits all these check boxes but is still uniquely me? Mm-hmm. So he made a monster movie because he loves the Gill Man from Creature of the Black Lagoon. And then he basically crafted this movie that spoke to a lot of social issues at the time. So you had the main character who was disabled, right? Like she's deaf. That's the main character. Her best friend, and it takes place in the 60s, which is like a time of social strife.
Okay.
And her best friend is, I forgot her name, but she's a black lady that works at the laundry with her at this secret facility. And then the main character's best friend is this older gay man played by Richard Jenkins. And then the main bad guy is Michael Shannon, who is like a toxic, chauvinist, authority figure CIA agent. And then you also have a kind of like an empathetic view of like a Russian spy, basically, character played by Michael Stuhlbarg. And it's basically like this very progressive cocktail mixture that is designed to kind of appeal to those sensibilities. And it swept the Oscars, won fucking Best Picture and all that, but it still stands the test of time because it is crafted in a way where it will not live or die based off those elements. But those elements existed. You could not to be completely cynical about this, but they're almost like they were cherry picked and added to that formula, just so that people at the Oscars were like, you know, we got this group is in here, this group is in here, this check. It's posing a positive message, and it's saying all the right things. You know, not that I'm against progressivism, but also I'm just saying that cynically it is designed to win the Oscars that way. It is. I
mean, that's why movies.
The perfect Oscar.
That's why Oscar
movie.
bait is an insult. That's why it's an insult.
Exactly.
Because it's like implying, oh, you're just fucking trying to.
You're trying to win the game. It's politics. But that's also like he managed to succeed, and also the movie's still really. It's still him. It didn't become this thing where it's like, who gives a fuck about The Shape of Water now? It's still a good movie.
Right, yeah.
And then because that became such this critical success, he was able to have a little bit more pull after that. He's like, I got a lot of pull now. My next picture is going to be Nightmare Alley, which is not a monster movie. It is a dark noir film that is a deeply cynical tragedy about terrible people doing terrible things, and it's done on a high budget. There was no universe where that movie gets made prior. There's no universe where Nightmare Alley gets made prior to him winning an Oscar for something like Shape of Water.
Right.
He had like the capital and the like social cred, whatever the fuck he had. He had the juice to make something that deeply cynical and that's expensive after something like Shape of Water.
When before that, he wasn't recognized in that way. Like, that was the main thing, is he was already talented, he was already doing well, but he wouldn't get funding.
He could never get funding for something like that unless, of course, like prior to that, he was doing like the Pacific Rim movies, which were big blockbuster, kind of like event films, like superhero movies, basically. Like, he made the first one, and then he had produced the second one. But those were like money movies. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, his biggest successes were comic book films. Like, he did the Hellboy movies. And then before Hellboy, he did Blade 2.
Oh, right.
So, like, he, like, you know, and he has like a knack to be like, I could do the popcorn money-making movie and still retain my voice with it, which is impressive. And it's even more impressive nowadays, where it's like it fucking never happens.
Yeah. I'm amazed that Sam Raimi pulled it off again. Like, because he managed to do a modern like superhero movie that was still like had director sensibilities, like we had the same exact sensibilities.
With Spider-Man,
with Doctor Strange. I was impressed at how he managed to keep his tone with that movie, because that's the type of thing I wish there was more of like, oh, I can tell this is directed by somebody who had a lot of input.
Had his vision in there.
Yeah. That's what I mean, any film, you can tell when that's happening. Anybody knows. Like, you're watching a movie, you're like, oh, this is like all this stuff is working because whoever's behind this is making a lot of good choices. You can feel that when you're watching something.
It's like everything's intentional.
Yeah. And the best directors just that's inherently like, they do it so well that there's a certain essence you can feel throughout all their films. It's like, oh, this is the type of thing they would do.
Yeah.
If you're really good at it, you have a sense of style that people then pick up on.
Like, you'd be like, that's definitely Del Toro, or that's definitely Sam Raimi.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Like, yeah, exactly. Because they're so distinct. I mean, but with the Del Toro especially, because he has so much creative input on even like the types of stories he's doing. I mean, he's somebody who's specifically like with doing like creatures and monsters and all this, Gothic. And the type of iconography,
fairy tales.
It seems like he's managed to stay in a certain area forever, which is rare for that type of. For most of the time, as a director, you're just doing anything. I feel like he's gonna jump back and forth.
He's like, gotta find the work. But even when he's doing something where it's like, this is the paycheck movie.
Yeah, he's still
even
good.
Then he's just like, well, what can I pull from me? To make me love this, or to make it worthwhile for me.
Yeah,
which is great because not a lot of people do it. A lot of people are just like, fuck, I just gotta get through this.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just gonna make this piece of shit.
Yeah.
And get through it. I love Raimi. Raimi's got a movie out now. Tim saw it. I heard it was good.
If you can see this on camera, folks, can you? Maybe you can. Probably right about there. If you can see, it's 2 tickets to the movie Send Help that Alex Perez just mentioned.
Hell yeah, man! Ruse, we're keeping movies alive. The theaters are staying alive, man.
Right, keeping the theaters alive. It was a good movie.
It looked great. It's Sam Raimi, man. That's the guy. It's I
think I gave it a
childhood filmmaker right there.
7.5 out of 10, maybe a 7.75.
It's good enough.
Very good movie. I didn't know anything about it. Like I said before, I tried to know as little as possible, so that's how I went into it, knowing as little as possible, and that was the way. That was the way to see it.
Hell yeah!
It was there's a couple moments in it where, again, it's like you can just tell that the person directing it is like going all the way. I would say there's a couple moments. There's a scene with a boar that is one to look out for. There's a scene with a boar that is fantastic.
That's crazy.
And I would say, I mean, if you know anything about the movie, it's 2 people on an island. So I'd say the way that the scene is done with a what's the movie, the Tom Hanks one?
Castaway.
It's like a Castaway like plane crash scene, which is always great. I mean, you gotta love one of those. Just imagine Sam Raimi doing a plane crash. That's exactly what it is.
I can only imagine. I gotta check it out. I love me some Sam Raimi.
Very good movie. I mean, like I would recommend it. I would go as far as to say it is a great. If you're trying to have a good time out at the theaters, it's probably the only good movie in theaters right now. Because I think when I went and looked, it was like not very many other options.
Have you watched a lot of Sam Raimi stuff?
No, that's what I've realized is I've only seen a couple of his movies, but every single one is so distinct. Like I still want to see The Evil Dead, of course.
Oh yeah,
Evil Dead's the one,
the OG.
Yeah, and I think I've seen it when I was a kid. Is there a scene where something goes through a guy's foot, and he's like, ah?
The first one, I don't think so, but I know that he's like Bruce Campbell's had people stab him in the foot. I'm pretty sure Army of Darkness, there's a good scene where he gets stabbed in the foot.
It's just like, I just remember being a child and seeing that and being, oh. I think the movie is it like blue? Is it tinted blue?
Someone does get stabbed in the foot in the first Evil Dead with a pencil.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it. I remember seeing that as a kid and going,
gnarly, dude.
And I get that. I think when you're an adult and you watch The Evil Dead, it's fun because of like the camp factor and all this. Well, I remember seeing it as a kid and thinking, that's a scary movie.
Oh yeah, like I remember being horrified, and then I would have like, a birthday party, and I was like, we're watching Evil Dead, and everyone's like, why are we watching this for your birthday? I'm like, we're gonna watch this. We're watching the OG, and everyone's just like, we're all young, and everyone's just kind of, no one's seen it, which is even better. It was like the perfect atmosphere. My dad thought it was hilarious. And that first one is campy. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's basically rated R Scooby-Doo, basically.
Yeah.
But the story behind it getting made, I mean, it's amazing. They're Midwest Michigan filmmakers. They're just out there trying to make a movie with their buddies, and it becomes like this huge deal. And yeah, I love Evil Dead. I watched those movies out of order though. I watched like Army of Darkness first. I watched like Army of Darkness, and then the OG Evil Dead, and then Evil Dead 2, which everybody loves Evil Dead 2 the most because it's just like the crazy, goofy, super goofy one with the effects are crazy. But I personally always liked Army of Darkness more because
Is that the third one?
That's when he goes back to medieval times, dog. He's fucking fighting skeletons with swords, and it's insane. It's a silly movie. But I love the Evil Dead movies, but I've come to realize with time that my favorite Sam Raimi movie of all time is not an Evil Dead movie. Not at all. I've always loved this movie, but it's in the news recently because he did an interview saying he wants to do a sequel to the film, to Darkman. What is Darkman exactly? Who is Darkman? That's on the poster.
Who is Darkman?
Who is Darkman? Darkman, that is from the early 90s. I think it was like 90 exactly, or 91. But it is during the Batman craze, because there was a big race for Batman back then. The Batman trailer came out, and people were going to other movies just to see the Batman 89 trailer, because it was so hype. And the studios were fucking freaking out. That's why they're like, we gotta catch up to this Batman movie. That's why they gave Warren Beatty all that money, make Dick Tracy. Or they were like, all right, give Sam Raimi, you're gonna do Darkman. Or they did an adaptation of The Shadow. They weren't adapting comic book heroes to catch up with Batman. They were adapting the old school pulp heroes, like the Phantom and the Shadow. Like Alec Baldwin played the Shadow. Like it was just like they were trying to figure. They didn't understand what was gonna make the Keaton movie a success. But for all these movies, they used Danny Elfman. Like Danny Elfman did the music for Darkman, and Sam Raimi originally wanted to get the rights to The Shadow, but Baldwin was doing it at the time, so instead he'd made his own hero up. And it is a movie starring Liam Neeson, a young Liam Neeson, and his love interest is played by Frances McDormand. And it is a pulp comic book style superhero movie, very dark, very morbid movie about a man who is trying to invent synthetic skin, but he gets wrapped up in some sort of intrigue with mobsters who like destroy his lab, kill his partner. They brutalize him and they scar him and leave him for dead. He comes back from the dead, and he starts using his skills, being like a master of disguise, to get revenge on these gangsters. But it's very Sam Raimi. The camera is its own character. There's all these gags in the movie, like visual gags, and the music's like Danny Elfman, so it's like horns and shit.
What's
the
the name
time.
again?
Darkman.
Darkman.
But the reason I realized recently why I like it so much is, in comparison to the Evil Dead movies, Darkman is like an emotional movie. Like,
yeah.
I wouldn't say Evil Dead is like exactly an emotional film. Like there's some serious trauma going on in those movies. I'm gonna be honest, I don't give a fuck about any of those characters. Like I care about Bruce because we like Bruce. We like seeing Bruce Campbell come out on top. He's an endearing, like enigmatic character.
Yeah.
And actor. It's hard to differentiate the two now because you see him in interviews. He's Bruce Campbell, but.
Yeah.
Darkman's got like a heart beating in the center of that movie, and it's about a man who has to come to terms with the fact that he can never be with the person he loves ever. Like it's a sad, it's a big budget, depressing movie. They don't make those at all. And
when was this? When was it made?
Darkman had to be like 1991 or 92.
Oh, okay.
And I think it got a script polishing from the Coen brothers. Because the Coen brothers and Sam Raimi and Frances McDormand and Holly Hunter, they were all roommates. They're buddies. They're all like roomies. Imagine just you are Sam Raimi and your roommates are the Coen brothers and Holly Hunter.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is going on? Like, that's crazy. But yeah, Darkman is like an unsung 90s dark superhero movie. Probably would pair well with The Crow or with RoboCop. The plots are very similar. It is very much like the born-again revenge thriller, but the character's a pseudo-superhero. Sam Raimi's first venture into superhero movies. But
Oh, wow.
great movie. I guess highlight of the movie is probably when Liam Neeson takes Frances McDormand to the carnival. It's hilarious. It's also really fucked up. Watch Darkman, because now he's talking in the press, like, you know, Sam Raimi's like, I'm thinking about doing a Darkman 2. And it's like, oh, you're doing Darkman 2?
Darkman
They already
2.
did 2 Darkman 2s. They did Darkman 2 and 3 for made for TV. They suck, but they made them. So he wants to do like a proper sequel, which I'm excited for, because that means more Raimi. Come on.
Would you rather see Darkman 2 or a proper Spider-Man 4?
Darkman 2, because they will fuck Spider-Man up. Almost certainly would screw Spider-Man up.
If it was like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man?
Yeah, they would screw it up. Because unless they would have to give Sam Raimi full 100% control. Plus, everybody's in a different world now. Toby's in a different world. Sam's doing other shit. It would not feel the same.
Yeah.
I feel like the best thing they could do is just let it be.
Well,
let it be.
I think all 3 Spider-Men are going to be in the next Spider-Man.
Oh, man.
They're doing it again. And not only them, it's going to be them plus, I want to say there's somebody else from
Miles
another
Morales.
movie.
They're going to bring the animated Miles Morales.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
From the Spider-Verse.
From the Fox world.
I mean, if they pull it off, I mean, I was watching clips of the OG Spider-Man the other day with Tim. And I'm like, we're just sitting there and I'm just like, it's never going to get this good again.
Oh, you mean, when you say OG, you mean OG?
Yeah,
like all the way back.
Like Spider-Man 1 and 2.
Yeah, Sam Raimi's
We're
Spider-Man.
never going to be able to capture that.
Well,
again.
that was when you think about like just placing it in time. I mean, even what Iron Man was, where it was like this is but Spider-Man is like laid the groundwork for an Iron Man, where we had never really seen. I mean, even Spider-Man lays the groundwork for a Hellboy, like going back to that.
Yeah,
where we had never seen anything like that before. We'd never seen a proper comic book adaptation of an IP, where you take an IP from a comic book and you actually make it cool in a cinematic format. That's never been done, and it was said to be impossible. They said there's no way.
Yep.
That's dust for nerds. And then somehow,
I think we because the topics we talk about constantly, it's like I think we always come back to this thing when it comes to stuff like this is that there's no risk anymore.
yeah, because it was a risk.
There's no risk.
Spider-Man was a risk. Iron Man was a risk.
These fuckers in their suits, they bust out their charts and they bust out their algorithms. They run the numbers. They do their test market research, and they're just like, there's no way we could greenlight this because it's a major risk.
Yeah,
and we have to make a lot of money off this because for some reason these movies have to cost insane amounts of money to even make them in the first place. That's why you just have to fist, like, even if it's a 7.5 or however you rated Send Help, we have to do fucking backflips and cheer that a weird little movie that's just a standard high concept genre movie got made, and it's based off nothing.
Yeah, and let me just for the record say that most of the Marvel movies I watch now are like 4s. They're like 3s and 4s. So when I give something an 8, that's really good. Like 8 means it was very good. I would recommend. Like how I look at my scale is like 5 is average. Anything above that's good. Most of the Marvel stuff now is below average, 100%. It's just not that good as standalone content. Watch it on its own. And what I find is when you talk to the people who do like it, they always try to explain the flaws as, oh, well, it's better if you know this, and it's better if you know. Yeah, I want to watch a good movie. I don't want to do homework and learn about comic books. I want to watch a good narrative in a film format in a movie.
Yes.
I don't want to do all this other stuff. And it seems like everything's so meta, and they feed that part of the audience more than anybody else. Oh, but if you read this comic, you know why he said that one line. And it goes even into like random lines in the movie, like with the Spider-Man No Way Home, where what the fuck is it? Forgetting Green Goblin's name again. I can't believe
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe, yeah. So Willem Dafoe says the line like, "I'm something of a scientist myself."
Oh
and
my
it's like,
God,
dude, why the fuck? He's only saying that because of the meme.
Oh
yeah.
my God, kill me.
But it's that type of stuff that they feed into, and it's like that doesn't make for that doesn't enrich the film itself. It's only because
it's playing to the cheap seats, which are all of them apparently.
Yeah, but also these people who are just hopelessly in love with this IP, and they'll love it no matter what you do. You could feed them garbage, they'll still like it
line up and
because
watch
they
it.
they've loved Star Wars since the day they were born.
They're chasing the unicorn, man.
Yeah, it's like doing heroin. It's never gonna be as good as the first time.
Never gonna be as good as that first hit.
And that's what the ultimate tragedy is to me is like it's an endless game, and it could be different. You could have different intents, and it's always been this way, but it's only gotten worse. I'm sure I've brought this up to you before, but I have this book here, Writing Screenplays That Sell.
Yeah.
I just think it's so funny because the book's written in the 80s, and he's talking about you have to appeal to what the studios want, and you have to do all this stuff. And like the way he describes it, it sounds so innocent compared to today. Like they're talking about making Karate Kid. They're talking about making like
a proper movie.
Yeah, people are into karate right now. You got to make sure to do something about karate. Like that's what he's saying. He's not saying like make sure that you're willing to.
There was still hope back then. Yeah. Even during Reaganomics, there was still hope. There was still hope that.
And the 80s was an interesting time for filmmaking, just with like where it was going creatively. Because the 70s was like LSD and we're doing anything and everything. And the 80s, it kind of got locked down a little more and moved in a certain direction.
80s was like excess.
Yeah.
The 60s I think is more like we're gonna let's do some weird stuff, and then I think the 70s was like everything sucks. Like 70s was like there is no hope. But I think every 70s movie just ends with the protagonist just getting shit on and
it was a depressing time, you know.
It was like, you know, as a culture we gazed into the abyss.
And the abyss gazed back.
Exactly. Which is kind of what we should be doing now, but instead we've got like this massive machine that's just feeding us slop.
Yeah.
Just to keep us not depressed like that.
Yes, and I think that audiences have been trained to think that that's what they want to see.
I would argue. I would argue that's changing slowly.
Hopefully,
I think people are starting to rebel against it. They're getting sick of it slowly, man.
I hope so, because I think another big part of it is, how do I put it? Like, so I watched this video recently that put it really well, and I hadn't really understood it in this way, but it's like a lot of the time with what's happening when you have a lot of these older products coming back with newer stories, like say these live action Disney movies, or say a new Star Wars, or a new anything, a new Indiana Jones, a new James Bond. What you'll often see. We gotta
come back to that.
Well, new James Bond is coming soon, right? We're gonna see where they go. And the thing is, the running thing you'll see from Hollywood, just the way that these people think is, we need to reject everything that the story already is. Fuck anybody who likes this story. Fuck anybody who likes Star Wars. You don't understand that Star Wars has been holding this group and this group back for so long, and they just make it a political statement, and then they say fuck you if you like the original thing. It's what happened with Snow White. The girl, that's why the actress tanked the movie, because she started going out and saying, yeah, the movie's about how Snow White don't need no man. Fuck you guys. That's what she started saying in interviews. And everyone was like, that's Snow White needed a man. That was the movie. The movie was she needed a man.
Didn't she need like 7 of them?
Yes.
And they're like
she needed a whole lot of men.
She needed like 7.
I think one of the dwarves might have been a woman. I want to say there was a girl dwarf. Possibly. I don't know, actually. I actually don't know. But I think there was.
I didn't see the film.
The dwarves are a little bit gender ambiguous, some of them. The one with the droopy ears is kind of like this. That could be a dude or a girl. I don't know. The movie was made in the 70s. 90s? When did Snow White come from?
The original Snow White?
Yeah.
That's the first Disney
I haven't seen Snow White in
movie.
a long time.
That's a masterpiece.
It's the OG?
The OG.
What? Before Cinderella? Before...
It predates all that shit.
Sleeping Beauty? Mm-hmm. So it kind of laid the groundwork for Sleeping Beauty, though.
Yeah,
because it's the same thing.
It's essentially the same shit. Yeah. She falls asleep, she wakes up because someone... basically kisses her.
But that's what's so crazy is that's the story, and then you have modern Disney going, oh, well, we don't want to send the message that she needs a man. Let's make it so the guy's just kind of a side character, and they just changed. By that, you change the whole framework of like, oh, the girl gets poisoned, she eats the apple, she needs the prince to come save her, the prince kisses her, da-da-da-da-da, true love's kiss.
They want to tackle perceived problematic gender stuff.
And by doing that, it's like, you're taking all of the imagination and the creativity and everything from the movie, and you're making it this political platform. And I think that is the that's ultimately where the people making the movies are going wrong, so the actors are going wrong, and they don't see it because they're in this bubble of Hollywood where everyone's just yes-manning them all the time and saying, this is a good idea, this is a good idea. And then when you have the audiences react, this is the other part of it, is because it's all about like minorities and genders and all this, you create this thing where if I'm going to criticize your Disney movie because I don't think it was a good depiction of the Little Mermaid, you're just going to say I didn't like she was black.
Oh, they did do the Little Mermaid too, didn't they?
And she was black, and that was the big thing. Is it's like a catch? They catch you because if you criticize the movie, they've already calculated how they're going to perceive you for criticizing the movie. They're going to say, well, you're racist. You don't like Black Little Mermaid, or oh, you don't like a woman in Star Wars. You probably just don't like a woman in Star Wars.
So they basically kind of are. They have it in their. They have it at the ready.
I think they do it on purpose, is so what I'm saying. They do it on purpose.
It could dodge criticism.
So when James Bond is inevitably a girl, they're going to say, oh, you don't like women. You don't like women, and that's why you don't want James Bond to be played by Zendaya.
Zendaya is 007.
That's what's going to happen, because that's the... And I didn't realize it was quite like that until... I want to say it was the YouTube channel Idea Theory, and it was just like why Hollywood hates its own fans or something. But it was a good way of laying it out, because I think that the problem is not just that they're trying to be politically correct. It's that they're trying to actively make a statement and reject the people that support. Like, they're telling you, I don't care if you like this product and you like this. If you are any at all like what we think, like if I say... the original story is problematic. You tell me you like the original story. Well, I don't care if you like the original story. I'm in charge now. I get to make Star Wars now. So you suck.
Look at me. I am the Star Wars now.
And I just feel like it's such a wrong approach, because you're shitting on your own fan base, and it's never going to work long run. And like that's what's so nuts to me.
I was in I love horror movies. I'm also a massive Star Wars fan. And I've had to check out for a while, and it's not because I hate all the Disney Star Wars stuff. It's just the discourse just makes me want to shoot myself in the head. Because it's just that all day.
What is what all day?
It's people. It's either they have gripes with the films based off social messaging.
Yeah.
Or there's not enough social messaging that's being addressed.
And that shouldn't even be what people are talking about. It shouldn't it shouldn't have anything to do. Like, the thing is, people that make the argument, oh, Star Wars has always been political. Yeah, but it was political in the same way that like a great novel is political. Like, it's like meant to make you think about these topics.
There are elements in the original Star Wars that, because those first three are classics. I'm sure you've seen them.
Yeah.
That through a modern scope probably aren't the best. It's like with James Bond. I love me some James Bond.
Yeah.
Those first couple are rough, especially You Only Live Twice, when the way that women are treated. But that is to say that male power fantasies shouldn't completely dissolve. I do believe that you could still have well-rounded female characters without totally sucking the life out of the male characters, or at least removing their edge. Empire Strikes Back, great movie, but there are elements in that where it's like, that one's a romance movie, right? It's ultimately a wartime romance movie. But I think most people found, well, they don't openly criticize how problematic some of the stuff in that is, but a lot of it is just Harrison Ford badgering her, like, come on, I know you like me. That's the whole fucking movie. And then eventually she's just like, yeah, I do like you. And it's like, listen, they have a lot of chemistry. I love Han and Leia, but there's a lot of moves that are made that, I can see why someone would be like, maybe we should adjust some of this. Now, we could talk about if some stuff is overcorrected or not. Like, there's certain elements, there's certain things, decisions they made in future films where people are like, they might have steered too far into the other lane.
And well, I think that's the problem, is you're just you get too far from. You're just, now you're making decisions because of that. Like, you're retroactively thinking, what's the audience going to think? How are they going to perceive if we make a choice like that?
You have to strike a balance so that it doesn't just become girls get it done every time, which is like, like
I mean, that's where
it's okay to have it's okay to have flawed male characters.
Yeah,
it's okay to have flawed female characters. Nothing wrong with any of these things.
What was it? Who's the main girl in the new Star Wars movies? I'm forgetting her name.
Daisy.
Kylo Ren is
Rey?
the guy. Rey is the girl. Rey Skywalker.
That was
or
all
whatever
people talked about forever. Was just like,
well, her being a Terry Sue, where it's like the
Mary Sue.
Mary Sue, is that what it is?
Terry would maybe that is
Terry Sue's the guy
that's
version.
That's the dude version.
Yeah, but she was a Mary Sue in the sense that if you don't know what that means, the original movies, you have to develop the ability of using the Force and understand it. You have to become a Jedi. There's
unless you're Anakin Skywalker.
Unless you're Anakin Skywalker, yeah.
Which
but just having this narrative of becoming a Jedi, at least, where it's not easy to become a Jedi. Not anybody can do this, and it takes a lot of like practice and skill. And then you have a character who's doesn't have all this background, and then just all of a sudden has a million of these abilities out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then like you just kind of shit on the original narrative by doing that, and it's probably because girl power. We got to have a powerful girl in charge of the new Star Wars.
True, but
and it's also like what doesn't make sense to me is another thing I've seen surrounding. So I didn't follow the new 3 Star Wars super close, but I've seen the guy, the African American actor who was in the movies,
John Boyega.
Yeah, and he's got all this political shit to say about how black people are treated and how black people are portrayed in film. And he makes it sound like Star Wars was never progressive when it always has been like featuring black people, and he makes it sound like he's the first black guy to ever be in Star Wars is how he says it in interviews, which is kind of crazy to me. And then also he seems to not understand like the original narrative was like he was going to be the guy throughout, like it was going to be the 3 movies and he was going to come out on top and be like the guy, but then they just fucked it up. The movie 2 fucked it up, and movie 3 tried to unfuck up the fuck up and fucked it up some more.
Yeah.
So, but like the original vision was he was going to be a major character, and he seems to miss that whole point because he's like, oh yeah, movies are racist. Like, dude, you were going to be like cool black Star Wars guy.
They did. They did.
And they did that twice already with Samuel L. Jackson, and with fucking in the second or third one. What's the dude's name? Lando Calrissian. Awesome, dude. Awesome black characters. I don't understand what this idea of Star Wars has ever been racist. It's never been racist.
Certain markets, and I would say it was probably the Chinese market, had removed him from the posters.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So there's almost certainly racism going on there.
That's kind of funny.
I remember when the trailer dropped, it was like, oh, right, new Star Wars. And they go down to the comments, and then people are just like, black stormtroopers? And it's just people being just hardcore racist.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, are we really doing this?
Yeah.
Like, are we really getting upset about this?
Black stormtrooper.
There was never a plan with those new movies. They kind of were just winging it.
I think there was a plan.
Which is a fucking mistake.
I think there was a plan, movie 1, of like what he was going to do, why Mark Hamill was revealed at the end, why they did all that shit. I think that there was an idea, but then you have another director come along and just fucking tank half those ideas. And then now, if you're the guy who made the first movie and you want to fulfill your original idea, you're going to have to either retcon shit or like, and I think that's the mistake he made. He should have like improv'd it and just made up some new ending. But he tried to go back to his first ending.
He should have yes-anded.
Yeah, and he didn't at all.
Movie.
He did not yes-and that second movie. He just rejected the movie.
That third movie was the studio bending the knee to all these online people complaining about it, where it's just like when Empire came out, Empire Strikes Back is widely regarded as the best Star Wars movie. When it came out, there were fan petitions to remove the film because they hated it that much. So it's like, you really got to think like what time does to a lot of these things. Like when the prequels came out, people hated those, and now you've got like grown men who are like, those movies are masterpieces. And
when people say that about the new ones,
relevant,
I don't think it's going to happen with the new Star Wars films.
It's hard to say. I mean, 2014, Force Awakens came out, so we are a good ways removed from it. And I think you'd really have to ask the 10-year-olds that were around for all that. Because when I saw it, I was out of college, basically, and I was just like, I enjoyed Force Awakens, and then I enjoyed Last Jedi, but then when I came out of Last Jedi, I was like, man, that was fun. And then I'm like with other people who are a little bit older than me, and they're like, God, that was a fucking disaster. and I'm just like, what? And then of course it was just like people doing post-mortem it's like retrospectives on how the movie failed, and
Yeah,
it got to a point where it's like the discourse got so like ridiculous. Like there's elements in those movies that I disagree with, just like there's elements in a ton of movies I disagree with, but you know, at the end of the day, I wish they would just have yes-anded that second movie. And actually, I would have preferred that they just had a plan ultimately that they stuck with.
Well, the craziest part is you had the original creator who did have a plan. He said, you know what, Disney, I'll make 3 more Star Wars movies. And instead they were like, nah, we'll just make you an offer. We'll just pay you a bunch of money and we'll just buy it from you.
We'll buy it
George
from you.
Lucas had 3 more Star Wars movies that he was willing to make.
George was tired of getting fucking shit on by the people that were paying his bills. He was like, the fans hate what I've done. I'm just going to kill the whole thing. And I'm going to sell it off. He said he sold it off to the white slavers who take these things. And I'm like, oh fuck, that's what he's saying about Disney. He sold it off to the white slavers, and then they basically raped the film. And then instead of like what they should have done was just wait before making that third one, but because it doesn't belong to like George Lucas, who's like an auteur, he was out of the side of the studio system. He was a maverick. He did his own thing. They sold it to Disney, who has investors and corporate shareholders who are like, yeah, you told us that Rise of Skywalker was going to be out on this day. You guys have to make sure it comes out that day. And people are like, oh, fuck, we have to unfuck this.
Yeah.
They had to meet that scheduled time, so that means making it however they could, with whatever they could.
Somehow Palpatine has returned.
I know how he came back. They wrote him a check. They're like, we're getting Ian McDermott, old reliable, the guy that's been memed into oblivion. Let's get that guy.
Yeah.
The meme master.
It's such a tragedy because Star Wars, like, I really wonder what George Lucas would have done. Like, that's what I think about. It's like, you had such an original vision with the prequels. I wonder if a new story would have been completely different, because what we got was just kind of a repeat of the original first 3 movies.
Exactly. I think
where
there
we
was,
maybe
it was going to be the kids. Still, it was going to be like the continuing adventures of Luke's kids and Han's kids, you know. And then the expanded universe prior to the Disney purchase, there was all these other stories they told through books because they figured they were never going to make any more movies. They should have just made shows like they had started to make them. They started to make they made the Clone Wars that was done under George before he sold it to Disney.
Yeah. On Cartoon Network or something.
Yeah, it was pre Disney purchase, and then he also had been doing some test pilots for a Star Wars Underworld TV show about the crime underworld, which eventually did not take off. But you know, going back to how they fumbled the ball, there's a film critic named Chris Gore, and he mentioned that, and I agree with him on this, is that the biggest sin committed by Disney for these movies has nothing to do with pink hair or girl power or any of this shit. The biggest sin committed was the fact that at one time we had all the major players from the original Star Wars movies alive. And they never once shared a scene, not so much as a scene in the cockpit of the Falcon. He referred to it as corporate malpractice. like what a fucking failure to not be like, let's get Han, and like, it would have been that expensive to put them all in one fucking scene. Now the only way we're going to see them all together is like if they just like digitally replicate Carrie Fisher's face on her daughter's face.
When I feel like
versa for
the
Mark
explanation
Hamill
would be, we want to subvert expectations, which is what I was saying before. Is this is a fuck you to the audience that likes the product?
Yeah.
They just
we
knew you wanted it, so we wanted to do something different that you didn't know you wanted.
Well, now they know how that worked out for him.
Yeah,
because essentially, Rise of Skywalker was written by Reddit.
Yeah,
so it's like it's done and it can never be undone, and you know. That is to say, there aren't positives that came out of the Disney purchase. I think you could say whatever you want about the later stuff of it, but I think The Mandalorian is really cool.
Yeah.
Arguably the only that is really this Disney Star Wars.
I want to say, people always say that political show is good. Andor, yeah.
Excellent.
That's what everybody always tells me.
Excellent. And you know the best part about Andor? It's nestled away in a little corner, and it's not so overexposed that people deeply scrutinize and shit on it.
Mm-hmm.
it's like perfect because you can watch it, enjoy it, and you're like, okay, I'm done. They don't need to like rape and pillage that element because it tells a very consistent story to point A to point B, and then that's it. It's well crafted, it's well acted and directed and all that stuff, and it's better than we deserve. And then we just move on because what's next? The Mandalorian movie they're making, like. I think it's over for Star Wars, just like it's over for James Bond.
Yeah.
James Bond is another situation like George, where it might even be more tragic than Star Wars, to be honest, because James Bond has been sold to Jeff Bezos, and James Bond has been owned by the movies at least have been owned by the same family since like the early '60s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Broccoli family.
Oh.
Yeah. The inventors, they invented broccoli. They've been making these movies. The father had been making them for a long time, and then eventually the IP was passed down to the kids. And that last one they made, that's it. That's it, dude. It's belongs to Amazon now. And then if you look at Amazon's plans for James Bond, they're marveling it. They're gonna be like, we're gonna do some flagship movies, and then we're doing spin-off TV shows. And I just want to
have you been wondering about Agent 008, Agent 009?
Like they want to make a Moneypenny TV show who's like the James Bond secretary character.
Okay.
They want to do a show about Q, who's basically like the invention guy, like 007. Here's what you're gonna use in this movie. They want to do a show about him, and it's like I had to come to terms with it because as a kid I was obsessed with those movies, and I just had to come to terms with it recently. I was chatting about it with Nathan, who's also a big James Bond fan, and we're like, we have to do some sort of like funeral for James, because Star Wars, they're still going to keep that corpse alive, and we might get some gems out of it, but James Bond is dead. And James Bond was more than just the movies. Those were like huge car ads, clothing ads, jewelry, drinks. They were travel logs. Like those were not just giant commercial movies. They were commercials.
Okay.
They were showcasing different locations he went to, the clothes he wore, the cars he drove. Everything, like, those were big. And then at a certain point, it was like, they just weren't as big as they were, and it was time to sell it off, I guess.
Yeah.
But you're talking about something that is, like, from the early 60s to, like, just recently they finished it, right? That's decades upon decades of, we're making another one. You know?
And it still went through different iterations along the way, different James Bonds, different directors for most of the movies.
They're like zeitgeist movies because depending on the decade, it's highlighting a specific thing that's popular. So you'll get one from the 70s, and it's like the black exploitation James Bond, where he's like, you know, in Harlem, and he's like trying to get to the bottom. He's trying to get to the bottom of this scheme involving like heroin, and there's like chicks with afros, and then you fast forward to like the 90s where everyone's obsessed with nanobots, and you know, or like even recently, like Skyfall was 2015, and that's like Dark Knight. Like
2012.
2012. That's basically the Dark Knight, because like they capture Javier Bardem? He's like, I have a plan within my plan.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I wanted to be captured. This is a post 9/11 James Bond movie. They're all basically zeitgeist movies reflecting what is currently popular. Like Moonraker is the fucking Star Wars one. They go to space.
Yeah.
There's lasers. So it's like, you know, and I think there was a big debate with that last one because there was, again, like we were saying, there was ideas of the news coming out that they wanted to replace James Bond with a female, and she would lead the next few James Bond movies. There was all sorts of speculation about rewrites that were going on. And maybe they were just like, it's not worth the trouble anymore. No one's coming out to see him like they did. Let's just sell it off. It's just sad because it was like a family-owned thing. And they were just like, give it to Jeff. And Jeff's just like, I'm going to put this shit out. I'm going to put James Bond out on the corner. He's going to earn me some fucking he's going to earn me some money.
Yeah.
I'm going to put some nylons on him.
And it's someone who is not going to take care of it. They're not going to give the proper TLC to that James Bond product. It's probably, I mean, the fact that it's been in-house is probably the factor that's kept it as it is for so long.
Almost
so
purity.
it'd be unrealistic to even expect it to stay the same. It's like I think that's why most video game companies have just gone downhill, because most of them aren't the companies they were like 15, 20 years ago. It's hard to stay good for a long time if you're any product at all, because you have to have some people who are leading the helm of that ship. They're steering the ship the right way, like a family, or like somebody who passes it down. Or if we're talking about 20 years plus, 40 years plus for any product, it's like you have to find a way to make it stay as it is, because otherwise someone has to care. Someone who like genuinely is involved in it, because the people running the people holding on to most IPs now they've been holding on to them for they got bought it from somebody else. They've held it for 5 to 10 years. They don't care about this. They got it for a reason, And now James Bond, because I'm just imagining. And it's funny. I just got into James Bond probably because they just added it to Netflix. Probably because they just bought it. Probably somebody just bought it. And
it's all on Netflix now.
Which is actually really nice.
Yeah, they're all in one. They used to have a thing called the Bondathon. I think it was Spike TV was doing it. There is a name you'll never hear again.
Yeah, Spike TV.
Spike TV, which is just like Mansers.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah, brother. Yeah. It was
How much spaghetti can you eat in one day?
Yeah. It was all sorts of shit like that. And then the Bondathon, I was like, I would DVR everything. I was just like, hell yeah.
Oh, right. But then you get the fucking TV version. You miss the boobs.
You got to skip it. There was never any exposed nipples in any James Bond movies, unfortunately.
Not one?
Not one.
Wow.
They never did that. There's plenty of racism, though.
Plenty of racism. Plenty of exposed biases.
Plenty of sexism, yeah. One of the drawbacks of being around for that long is if you go far back, like, I do love me some Connery, but man, dude.
Yeah.
There is some shit in those movies. Like, You Only Live Twice, that's the one where he goes to Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, Bond, you have to go to Japan, go undercover. You have to be a Japanese man. They dye Sean Connery's skin, and they give him like prosthetic eye makeup so that he looks Japanese. and they're like, you will take on a Japanese wife. Japanese wife dies immediately, gets a new one almost immediately. Like, it's bad. Like, there's some bad shit in those movies, dude. Like they would never make any of that today. Not that they should. I mean, it's a step backwards to be like, back in the good old days where we would dye James Bond's skin.
Bond, we need you to go back to the streets. Here's an afro.
They never got that bad, but it's pretty bad, dude. Like, it's I understand a lot of the criticisms for old James Bond, but like anyone that had criticisms for the Daniel Craig stuff, they just need to shut up. It was like the first time the first one that he did,
Casino Royale.
Yeah, he's like. Every other movie, James Bond is like coldly murdering people and making jokes.
Yeah.
And then this one, he like kills the one guy in the stairwell. And you're like, man, it was an awesome action sequence. He kills this guy in the stairwell. He like strangles him. And then, as opposed to literally every other James Bond movie, he goes and sits in the shower. He's like, I just strangled this man to death. Like, no other James Bond movie is doing that. Like, it was a guy. They were attempting to like make him a human being.
Yeah.
And then. They were actually trying to tie those movies together, those Craig movies. Like, not totally well, but better than the previous James Bond movies did. They tried to like make it like a long, cohesive, almost episodic group of Bond movies.
Yeah.
And they tried to make him like a person with like layers. Like the last one they did, they gave I don't know if you've seen it.
I haven't seen the latest one.
They gave him a bunch of shit that they've never done with James Bond before, and they were trying to like flesh him out a little bit more, especially since it's arguably the last real one they're gonna do.
No Time to Die.
No Time to Die. Great title too.
Yeah.
But I mean, so yeah, people are like, oh, James Bond's still a sexist. It's like they try their best to like allow him to still be cool and also not totally neuter him.
Yeah, I feel like you can never ever take out the whole like womanizer element of James. It's kind of like
it's part of the male power fantasy.
Well, and it even gets taken advantage of throughout the stories. Like it's one of his flaws.
It's one of his flaws.
Like it doesn't work in his favor. It works against him in a lot of ways.
Yeah, because he's constantly like, is she gonna kill him?
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Is she gonna ensnare him? It happens all the time.
And like, you pair that with the femme fatale trope, and it's like, well, now it's perfect. Like, because what if you do have this girl who's like super attractive, but she also is gonna kill him?
People hate the femme fatale trope too now, because it's considered extremely sexist.
I think that's empowering. I go the complete opposite way. I'm like, that's cool. It's like when Quentin Tarantino did Kill Bill. Like that was a feminist movie.
That's a feminist movie.
Yeah, that's the girl power movie, if you ask me.
A femme fatale is like, it's like a, she just ensnares men and kills them. It's like, if anything, I can't speak because one, I'm not a woman, but when it comes to film tropes, I would think that like, I wouldn't necessarily say it's empowering. A femme fatale has agency, because they're allowed to make the decision that's not the good one.
Yes, yeah.
They could have easily been like just your cookie cutter good character. I don't know. A femme fatale is almost always more interesting than like your supporting.
Just like a villain, it tends to be more interesting than a hero. Like a villain tends to have more,
exactly,
more. Oh, why would they do that?
I don't want to get into a diatribe about the Madonna whore complex. I'm not a psychoanalyst here. I'm just talking about fucking film and storytelling tropes here. But
I just think I just find it to be funny that it tends to go against. Like, I think if you want an empowered character, you want a character that's, like, achieving a lot of things, you want a character who's more relatable, a character who's more rounded out, a character who's more human. And so to make a character perfect is usually the bad move. Like, to make somebody flawless and perfect is the worst thing you could do if you're trying to tell an interesting story. Because, again, like, flaws... If you do them right, like James Bond being a womanizer and getting himself in a situation, like it should lead to things that would not work and like drive a narrative even further down a rabbit hole. Like that's how a good flaw is written into a story.
Even Superman has flaws.
Superman, Iron Man, Captain America, any of these superheroes, they all have like critical flaws.
You want a character to be dynamic. We can't just glaze the characters we want by just being like, aren't they awesome?
Yeah,
there's
but
nothing wrong with them.
It's that safe choice thing where it's like, oh, but if we're making a character that's this type of character, we don't want to make people who are in this group worry that we're saying that this group can't do this thing. So, like, and none of that shit has anything to do with the story you're telling, but you convince yourself that stuff matters. And I think that's how you back yourself in a corner and make this perfect character. By convincing yourself... And by writing for people that aren't you. That's the other thing, I think. You just write for yourself. Like, if you're writing a story, write for yourself or write for at least the people that you know would like it. Because otherwise, you're just going to write for everybody. And everybody is not a good audience.
And then you have, like, this diluted milquetoast.
Yeah. You cannot...
thing.
You will never satisfy everybody. That's something I've just learned in life, is like to make something good that's worthwhile is actually to satisfy like half of people and have the other half like horrified and upset. Like that's stuff that actually makes a difference. It's the stuff that half the people are like, this is great, and the other half are like, oh my God, never do that again.
That's my favorite kind of shit.
Me too.
That shit, yeah.
And I've learned that that's what you have, if you really want to make a difference and a change and affect people, you have to accept that that's going to happen, and that's actually an indication that you're doing the right thing. Because if everybody's saying it's good, it's probably actually like too far in that way.
Yeah, it's probably mid.
It's probably mid. And you actually probably have to figure something out because it's just the way of the world. It's like the new thing, the thing that's actually different, that's actually taking a risk and making a change, is going to look unfamiliar at first, and people won't know how to respond to it. And it happens every single time. That's why things are ahead of their time. That's why you look back and you're like, oh, how did nobody realize this was like the best thing?
It's like when we were chatting about the eras of filmmaking. Like the 70s, like we were saying, a lot of depressing shit came out of the 70s, but a lot of it was provocative.
Thought-provoking,
there was a lot of shit going on there where people had to walk out and be like, like I got to think a little bit about it. Not every movie needs to do that, arguably, but we need to benefit more from people creating stuff that's challenging.
I think so. And I think the problem is you're only going to find it in indie markets because that's the only place that people will be able to fulfill that type of vision unless they're like a notorious auteur director who somehow broke through this system.
Yeah.
And there's only probably like 10 to 20 of those guys.
Rare. And then, and then eventually those guys are, canceled for something.
Yeah. It's amazing Yorgos is still standing.
Auteurs.
I feel like Yorgos is like a ticking time bomb, that guy. I've seen his movies. I mean,
emails will leak.
Yeah.
He yelled at somebody once, maybe.
Yeah. He's going to get Ellened.
He did something happened.
Yeah. Because it's inevitable. I mean, if you're trying to find the worst thing that anybody's ever done, you'll eventually find something that looks bad for almost every
heroes
person.
are monsters, ultimately. Yeah. Like, I mean, relatively speaking, like, man, like some of the masters.
Yes.
Like, if we're talking like filmmakers, a lot of the masters are pretty, like, they had probably done things that are fucked up. Like Scorsese.
Yeah.
As far as I know, there's nothing. But we have to also remember Scorsese, when he was making movies in the 70s, all those guys were like coked out and...
Yeah, Kubrick too.
Yeah. Like Kubrick, everyone knows that he was just like a madman who was just like, we're doing 1 billion takes. Mm-hmm. And like people are like, he's shell-shocked Shelley Duvall, and like all these people are flawed. There's not going to be some, like, who are we looking for to be the perfect human specimen?
Well, and what do you want from art? I mean, to me, it's kind of it's a philosophical question at a point, because I don't think you can have the expectation that art will come from stability, and you're crazy to think that.
Yeah, you're
absolutely out of your mind.
Have you talked to a stable artist?
Exactly. Like, as someone who talks to different kinds of artists a lot, especially like I think it's interesting because like filmmakers and musicians, I think, are even weirder because they are so like musicians especially, but filmmakers are interesting because they tend to have like a solid vision. That's something I've noticed about talking to filmmakers is they're artistic, but they have like a solid idea of what they want, and that's why they're a filmmaker. Whereas if you talk to a musician, it's like a murkier kind of creativity where they just like,
it's more abstract almost.
Yes. Yeah. And like a comedian is easier to talk to because they are just used to riffing and talking out their ideas all the time, but it's still that same kind of creativity, and it's all insanity. All of them are insane.
they're all crazy.
Yeah, and the more and more you talk to, the more and more you realize, oh, it's just everybody's crazy. And if you surround yourself with creative people, you'll think everyone's like that and everyone's crazy. And then you talk to like a normal person and you're like, oh, I forgot. Like, you forget that people are just normal and they have normal lives.
It's refreshing. Honestly,
it is refreshing.
It's refreshing.
Creative people are nuts. And that's why, that's like that. So I think, and I don't think the public understands that. So you'll see this story come out like, oh, so-and-so did this. And I'm just kind of thinking like, yeah, but you can't throw the baby out the bathwater. You can't just say because he did that.
All the babies out over here.
Like, I mean, like Kanye's the classic example because he just somehow manages to make it worse every 4 or 5 years. But he made revolutionary albums and he's a staple of hip hop, and you can never take that away. So it's just kind of like a funny thing where it's no matter what he says or does, you cannot tell me that my Dark Twisted Fantasy is an amazing album. I mean, fucking there's some Kanye songs that can't tell me nothing. I mean, come on. Some of the best rap songs of all time. But Kanye himself doesn't help the argument ever. But I think that you wouldn't have those Kanye songs if you didn't have that Kanye insanity in the first place. Yes. And you gotta have to find a way to parse these things in your mind. I mean, Bill Hicks had a great bit where it's like people against LSD, people against psychedelics. Go ahead and take all your favorite classic rock albums and burn them if you're against that, because that's the exact thing that made all those things. Yeah. You know, and so it's like, you just have to accept there is discord and insanity and craziness, and that it's the exact thing that feeds into so much powerful art.
You have to embrace. You have to embrace it.
But you also, have morals and be able to say when things are wrong. It's not like no holds barred, but it's just like, I think that people have this mentality of just writing things off, like, oh, so and so's a piece of shit because of this. It's like, you have to learn that if you want to be creative, you have to think outside the box and kind of be a piece of shit sometimes. That's what makes the creative people, is they're willing to maybe be a piece of shit once or twice.
It's baked in there.
I would just never blame people for thinking that way of like, oh, you shouldn't do things wrong. I just think people are thinking so simply, like it's black and white, and it's not that simple. They're creative people are drawing from this duality. Like I really think, my theory is like there's like an inner darkness within most creative people, and that's what you usually find is like it's usually some type of like trauma or depression or something that gives them depth to then dig deep and be able to pull these things out.
Yes.
Whereas a normal person in quotes, they just don't have that type of depth. They don't think about life like that. They move through life in a more transparent way, which I actually think like ignorance is bliss. If you think about it that way, like it's not like you're less intelligent, but it's just you're less concerned with like stupid creative endeavors. You're just going to think about the...
Must be nice.
But yeah, you just think about what's in front of you. I think that would be great, and I think that all the time is like what a life that would be. But like me, I'm creative to a fault. I have to do something. If I don't do something, I feel as if I'm not fulfilling a purpose. And I think those are just two different types of people. Like your drive is completely different. The way that you look at the world is completely different. Like my dad was not an artistic person, so I think I would have interesting conversations with him because it's like an artistic guy, like to a fault, talking to someone who's not artistic at all. I remember one time I talked to him about the phrase, because he would always say this phrase, death is guaranteed, life is not. And I would say to him like, oh, that's a genius phrase, because it's like saying like death is guaranteed, but you don't know if you're truly going to live. Like you don't know if you're really going to live, but you always know you're going to die, but you never know if you're really going to live. Like that's an interesting phrase. And he's just like, what are you talking about? Like it's just death, you're definitely going to die.
What are you talking about? I just said that.
Yeah, I just said that. You're definitely going to die. That's what it is, of course. And he, like, there's no depth to it at all. And it's just interesting to me. Like, that's on the face of it.
That tells you everything, dude. Because it's
tells
like,
you everything.
As an artist, you just be like, you just grab that.
And there's so much more to it than just what it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's like an infinity contained within the thing. If you look at it right, like from the right angle, you can see it reflect and you see something else.
Yeah.
And everything's like that. Whereas if you're not artistic naturally, I was watching a clip just yesterday, and it was a woman on the news interviewing David Lynch after he did Blue Velvet, and she was just asking him like, why do you make these horrifying things? Do you want to just like ruin people's day? That's basically what she's saying. And he's like, no, I don't really intend to do that. I just like have an idea and I just follow it. Like he was as graceful as he possibly could have been.
I love that man.
But
best interview question or interview answers ever.
Yeah. Oh, and he only got better over time because he learned to explain himself less. Like I think that he used to explain more and
Could
go
you explain
more in
this
depth.
movie? And he's like, no,
watch the film.
Like that's a fucking artist.
Yeah, and I think David Lynch, of all people, he's one of my favorites in that he approaches art in the way a true artist would, and I think that looks alien to a lot of people. Like I don't know if you've seen any of Tarkovsky's movies, Andrei Tarkovsky. So I just like I've watched most of them now. I think I'm like 4 out of 7 through.
Oh, shit, where are you at?
I've seen Mirror, I've seen Solaris, I've seen Stalker, and then what I just watched, Nostalgia, and then I watched the beginning of his first student film because it's on YouTube. It's in 4K on YouTube. The Steamroller and the Violin. I've seen like the first 15 minutes. That is 40 minutes, so I didn't finish it.
Nice.
I tried to watch Andrei Rublev and I did not get it, and I like learned later like. Because I watched the first hour, I was like, what is going on? Because I love Tarkovsky. I've loved it. Like, he's my favorite director now. I love it that much. But I remember watching that movie, like, what is this? I just don't get it. And I read in threads, like, oh, if you understand the art, who the artist is and when it came out in Russia and all this, the movie's enriched. Yeah, so I guess I'll try to rewatch it. And again, I love this guy's movies, so I'll probably will like it if I get it the right way. But he's
like that, though, in comparison to Lynch. They're painters.
That's what I was about to say, is there's a video on YouTube of a guy reading his whole book, which is awesome because that's the only place this book is available online. It's the guy, the Kino Corner is his YouTube channel, funny enough. But yeah, so I've started to listen to that, and at the very beginning of the book, he's saying like how he's talking about like, because he's basically creating his own film theory with the book, and like how it's explaining how he would approach stories and film. And he's saying, at least in the beginning, that like most of the time when people are making a film, they're trying to recreate something, and through being so like painstaking and like just recreating every single fine detail, they just end up making an imitation. And if you're trying to recreate something, it's like you're trying to recreate that original experience for the audience to then re-experience. Like, you're not trying to recreate the events that happened as they happened. You're trying to recreate an experience to be experienced.
Yeah.
Which is a different way of thinking about making a film. Like, and that's how David Lynch would approach filmmaking. And I think it's so interesting because Tarkovsky and Lynch, they're around like the same time when they started out.
Yeah.
But like the way that they approach it is so similar yet different. Tarkovsky is more of like a Russian poet in the way that he makes films. Like, it feels like you're reading a Russian poem, like just a long like Russian novel. Whereas like David Lynch is more of like a fever dream type of thing.
Yeah.
But they're both doing it where it's more like a painting than it is a film even.
Yeah.
And I think that's like revolutionary, and so both of them are ahead of their times, because I think that hopefully over time people resonate more with that type of filmmaking rather than the cheap stuff that sells tickets.
Yes.
Because to me, that's real filmmaking. That's like a whole other level of filmmaking.
Yeah.
And that's like your favorite director's favorite director type of filmmaking, where they're so good, they've elevated the entire art form, and nobody even understands them to this day. Like, nobody could tell you exactly what makes them so good, because it's hard to even explain.
And they have a level of carte blanche when it comes to like the stuff they work on.
Yeah.
They're given more leeway than a lot of other guys. Like, what's really cool is if you watch some David Lynch, like as he's on set, I'm sure you've seen clips.
Yeah.
Of especially like the more recent Twin Peaks that he had done for The Return. The normal process of filming,
Yeah,
and scheduling and all that stuff, he fucking hates it. He's like on camera, like this whole process is sick. This process is sick, and it really, it's like some co-producers just trying to be like, we have to like schedule these actors because they've flown in, and we have to make sure you've got these poor people that are just trying to like make sure that the actors are there for when they are needed. And David Lynch is like, but I want to spend all day on this set. I could dream up all sorts of different scenarios here.
Yeah.
And it's just, he's operating on it at a different level.
And probably his sensibilities are even different because the standards have changed.
Oh yeah,
so
now
he's probably
it's not even the same.
Exactly.
Yeah,
he probably could have done that 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
Especially if he was less beholden to a lot of the things that are, like the fact that he's got this large cast.
Showtime was funding it too. Yeah, so you're
working with other people's money.
Yep.
They still allowed him to do his thing. Mm-hmm. It's just funny to see like he could give less a shit how things are like ran.
Yeah.
Which you go to see like the gaps in his filmography. It just probably just shows that he, at a certain point, he was just like, fuck this.
Yeah.
I'm done with dealing with all this red tape and people getting in my way of committing the art I want to commit to film.
Yeah. Dune changed him forever.
Yeah,
Dune just fucked up it all.
Dude, yeah, he did Dune. He was just like, fuck this. Fuck Dino De Laurentiis.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck you. He points at Kyle MacLachlan. You're cool. Fuck everybody else.
It's sad because his Dune could have been incredible, I have
a soft spot for that Dune.
If there was...
It's a nightmare, but I enjoy it.
I recall Lynch saying in an interview, like, people have asked him to do his own edit, a director's cut, and he said, like, he had such a bad experience making the film. He doesn't even want to look at a frame ever again, yeah.
He probably died never watching that movie again.
But it's... man, can you imagine if he just had his own cut even? Because that was most of it, was like the studio saying, no, it's got to be this. No, it's got to be this. And you have a David Lynch just going, oh.
Knowing Dune as a property and knowing the story and the book and everything that goes into Dune, And then knowing David Lynch, I'm still shocked that he bothered.
Right.
That
he even bothered
with it. Yeah, because I mean, like,
it was post Elephant Man too.
There he was just like, I gotta keep the lights on for one.
Well,
movie.
and I just mean like Elephant Man was an adaptation as well. I mean, it wasn't like an unknown story, so I think it wasn't unheard of him to take something else.
He's like, let me dip my toe in.
Yeah, maybe he was just trying to see if he could do it. Even
he's like, fuck this.
Did you ever see how he was offered to do the third Star Wars film?
Oh my god, yeah. Can you imagine what Jabba's palace would have been like?
His telling of the story is so
David?
funny because he's telling me about these Jabberwockies.
So Wookiees.
Ewoks are what turned him off. It was the Ewoks.
Terrible headache.
Yeah, terrible headache. George Lucas just rattling for hours,
Just being in a room with George, just trying to listen to George Lucas pitch David Lynch, Return of the Jedi, to be a fly in the room. Oh, so David, I got this idea for the third Star Wars movies, and they're going to be on the planet moon of Endor. The moon. What color is the moon? Is it a blood moon? No, it's the moon of Endor. just conversation, just doing this the entire time.
Yeah. It'd be like me talking to my dad again.
Fucking amazing. I think he would have probably, if we were to be honest, he probably would have had a better time with Return than he would have with Dune, maybe, because I feel like Dune is so complicated. You know what I'm saying? Like, Dune is just like this huge fucking thing, like this massive thing. It's got all these ideas going on at once.
Yeah.
And Return of the Jedi is very much just like he has to redeem his dad, and there's a war going on. That's it.
Yeah. And
I keep hitting the mic. Sorry.
No, you're good. I wonder how that would have been. I wonder what it would have looked like, because even like just where David Lynch was in his career, I don't know, dude. I feel like
he would have fucked it up.
He would have fucked it up, and it would have been seen as a failure. And it would have been maybe even good, but it would have been seen as a failure. Like if David Lynch had the creativity that he wanted to have, it would have been bad, because it would have been what the prequels were, but just before the prequels, because everybody would have been on board for Star Wars, and then they would have just did a 180 out of nowhere and did like a weird artsy David Lynch movie. Why are the Ewoks talking backwards?
I'm so curious. Someone out there, like, we have like all these people doing AI things. I'd love someone to AI a David Lynch Return.
I think there's a fake trailer somebody made. Like if David Lynch directed it, someone has done that. I mean, you could easily like at least take a character like Darth Vader, and if you took like the David Lynch approach to a villain like that, you would actually probably make him pretty scary.
I think so. We got the Emperor for Return of the Jedi, so I can only imagine what he would have done there.
Yeah. And we're talking about George Lucas too. Like George Lucas is the creative mastermind behind it all. So you have to imagine there's a reason he thought David Lynch could do it. Like there must have been some seed in his mind of why it was a good idea.
Yeah, like he was flirting with it, but
and maybe he even like leaned more into the campy, fun nature of it after Lynch said no. Like maybe it was going to be a darker end to the trilogy. Yeah. Maybe that would have been the move.
I think it was Richard Marquand was the director for Return.
Yeah.
But really it was basically just George being like, I'm directing this bitch, but you're going to be in the seat directing it.
Yeah.
Officially.
Yeah.
Because I think he just felt butthurt after Empire. Like everybody loved Empire, and he's just like, I didn't direct that.
Yeah, he didn't like how that went.
I feel like he would have been he would have been over David Lynch's shoulder the entire time.
Well, David Lynch probably could detect that from a 1 hour conversation.
David would immediately be like, I would have almost no creative control. And why do that?
And that's why it's so incredible when these things go right. I think that's actually why with the new Dune, which I haven't seen these movies.
Oh, the new ones?
New ones, no. But I've seen a lot of his other movies. Denis Villeneuve. He's fantastic, though. Prisoners was really good. What else? Blade Runner 2049 was really good.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
He's made a bunch of good movies. And he's just very good at... He's very good at like the philosophical, psychological, capturing what's interesting about a story in the way that he directs it. Arrival was really good too.
That was not him. Wait, was it him?
I think it was.
That was him
with Amy Adams and Jeremy Renner.
Is that the one where they're talking to the octopuses?
The aliens from space.
That was good.
That one was really good. And she's a translator. That's why they got her, because maybe she could crack the code with the aliens.
That's what's going to happen. That's how it would go for... They're all trying to figure out how to talk to these aliens. And they're like, we have to beat China to this. And it's like, You know what I'm saying? Like even then we're still stuck on our bullshit. Yeah. We can't be excited there are aliens here. Like we can't Russia can't beat us to this.
If they can communicate with the aliens, they can use their weapons.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's a good question. Like, you think if aliens came around today, confirmed UFO touches down on the White House lawn, it happens, or go to Taj Mahal, wherever. Aliens touch down, we see it, it's on camera. Do you think that would unify or divide us even more?
Divide us even more.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
Like, if it was captured, we saw an alien.
It would divide us. We're divided over the Super Bowl, dude. We're not even.
I think that's so funny.
We're not even ready for aliens.
We've gotten to a point where there's a second Super Bowl show if you don't agree with the narrative of the first one.
Did you watch any of the second Super Bowl show?
I've seen clips of it. Honestly, I didn't even like the OG Super Bowl show because I think it's all political, and that's what I don't like about it. I feel like the choice to have Bad Bunny headline is a political choice because of where America's at with South Americans and ICE and all this. And they're doing the same thing I was talking about with the Disney thing, where it's like you're making a choice that if I don't like your halftime show, now I'm a racist and I must not like Puerto Rico. Like, motherfucker, that's not why I don't like your halftime show. I don't like it because I think that he's not popular in America. Like, I think that if you look at the charts, he's popular in other countries, not America. And this is the American Super Bowl halftime show. That's kind of the idea. But, like, whatever. But I just don't like that, like, they've created it to where if you criticize that, you automatically must be, like, the racist who likes Kid Rock. Like, they've managed to spin that web. And then you got the other side that's just beyond parody. I mean, you got Kid Rock on stage, like, just go double toe five, and you got JD Vance just nodding with his wife next to him.
You saw he was lip syncing.
No,
he was lip syncing.
I mean, Lil Wayne gets shit for the way he performs. I'm sure Kid Rock does too. I don't know. There's a whole lot more lip syncing and leaning into that stuff than you'd realize in the music world. I don't like that stuff, but I've learned that so many big artists do it, and it's not even frowned upon. Like Chappelle Roan, she was sick before a concert, and she then came out at the show and said to the fans, guys, I'm sick tonight, so I'm just going to be lip syncing all my songs. Let's all have a good time. And then she proceeded to lip sync for 3 hours with the audience's approval.
And they're just like, you're here.
Yeah. I mean,
you're not singing, but you're here.
I'd be upset. I'd be like, you should have canceled the show and given me my money back.
Yeah. I want my money back, you charlatan.
Yeah. But that's where we're at now, where it's like lip syncing is a whole different thing. So, and also, like, if you go to a local rap show, it's fucking ridiculous, dude. These people don't even try to get a mix without their vocals in it. They just use the studio track and lip sync to themselves and call that a performance.
I would just charge the stage.
It's so upset.
Give me the mic, I'll make something up.
People have been conditioned to just witness this type of stuff and nod along and act like it's normal. And so I don't know where to stand on that. But Kid Rock lip syncing is funny. It's undeniably funny.
Dude, there was no attempt to hide it.
Like, well, was he lip syncing or was he using like a backup track where it like says half of the words and he says the other half? Maybe he did that?
That sounds like plausible deniability. Because you could easily just be like, I had a backup track, I wasn't totally lip syncing.
You know what the move is for if you're a rapper? This is what rappers do. Is they get a hype guy that learns your songs with you, like he knows your songs, and so he'll say the ends of the lines for you. Like he'll be like he'll do them as if they're dubs.
That's okay. That's
Eminem's done this plenty. Like if you look at like Eminem performances,
that's still lazy but less lazy.
Well, it's lazy.
Somebody's working.
The thing is, like if say you're doing an hour and a half show, and you have to, first of all, it's just crazy that you have to memorize all this shit. We're rappers. It's like a lot of words. If you're talking about an hour plus, that's a lot to have in your brain. So add that to the fact that you're moving around a lot. It's not a studio setting. It becomes a lot harder to nail every single line. So at that point, it makes sense to have a guy who's there saying the words. But
there's no excuse for Kid Rock not to know ba to wa ba.
Bah with the da, the bang, the bang, dig it.
Like, that's the only song. Like, that's the reason you're famous, dude.
Yeah.
And it's not even a good reason.
You haven't seen the Lil Wayne lip syncing stuff, have you? So Lil Wayne, or not lip syncing, but he'll have like a teleprompter when he raps a lot of the time.
Oh.
And people have given him a lot of shit for it because, like, you know, but his thing is, I don't even write my songs. I've never written anything down. So how do you expect me to memorize this stuff from 15 years ago, 20 years ago? And I'm kind of on both sides of it. I'm like, because I get Lil Wayne's perspective. I mean, it amazes me that people even write raps that way, where like they'll go into a studio and they'll just bar by bar just kind of freestyle until they've got a song.
Until they have something.
And you wouldn't guess it from hearing Lil Wayne's music. You wouldn't know that's how he writes, but that is how he writes. And so, but also it makes it incredibly hard to memorize anything because you never wrote anything. It's all stuff that you improvised, and then you have to go backwards and memorize it. So, but Lil Wayne, I mean, now he's gotten the public contempt. It was funny because that was what people were saying when it was last year and the Super Bowl was in New Orleans and Kendrick got it. And he was saying Lil Wayne was upset because that was kind of his last chance to ever do the Super Bowl.
Why is his last chance to ever do the Super Bowl? Because
his agent, it's his hometown.
Oh.
So New Orleans, it's like, when's the next time that the Super Bowl is going to come to New Orleans? I'll probably be too old. Yeah. And so he made the move of going on social media and kind of like saying he was upset with Kendrick Lamar, and then a bunch of people were like coming at Lil Wayne like, well, how the fuck are you going to perform the Super Bowl if you can't even memorize your lyrics?
That's so bogus.
I love Lil Wayne. I love Kendrick Lamar. I don't think it was smart for Lil Wayne to say anything about Kendrick Lamar.
Like, from what I've noticed at the Super Bowl, they have extra guys during these things.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, he could have been like...
Oh, Lil Wayne could have came out.
He could have came out and done something.
He could have
got a big pop.
And maybe if he hadn't soured the relationship by making a public statement. I mean, that's just another thing that social media has done to people. It makes people think social media is a way...
I have to post immediately.
Yeah, or like a way of solving problems with your friends, or a way of like if you have a problem with a certain individual, I'm just going to tell everybody what this person did. Because I think what happens is there's like a majority rule soapbox situation where like you have a soapbox based on your social media account and your following. Everyone just automatically thinks whoever posted it is right. This is what I've noticed. It doesn't matter which side you're on. If I'm your friend, I'm going to automatically assume everything you say is true, especially if it's posted on social media. And so in the end, the truth doesn't even matter. It's just whatever was posted about you at any given time is what matters, because people will just believe whatever they see.
We really just need like a solar flare.
Yeah. Just wipe it all out.
Just wipe it all out.
Yeah. I think it would be good if somehow people had those things taken away for at least like
it's destroyed. It's destroying everybody's brains.
When the problem is it's like a social experiment that no one opted in for, and there's no control group, and there's no way of understanding. Like, it's so... Like, okay, you go to a restaurant and there's a QR code instead of a menu. That's how you know you're too far in. Because
now you can't even be the guy like, I don't want a cell phone.
Yeah, you're not allowed
Those guys
anymore.
aren't allowed anywhere anymore.
That's my point.
You can't operate like that.
You literally are in a world that you can't operate in without a cell phone. Or if you do try to do that, you're at a massive inconvenience.
Yes.
And it's making your life incredibly hard.
You're being written out. It's basically like part of the social contract now is you have to have a mobile device.
Yes. And like the QR code's a great example to me because it's like a direct in your face, visible example, representation of, if you don't have this, sucks to be you. Like if you ask them for a menu, they say, no, sorry, we don't have physical menus. That's madness to me. That is absolute madness. You're telling me you only have a QR code I can scan, you don't have a physical menu? That is madness. Because what if I don't have my smartphone? Or what if I never had a smartphone? Or what if I didn't bring it today? Or whatever. And I think that it's so integrated that's like, it would be so hard to break away from it. It would be so impossible, and it's so tempting, and it's also to your detriment to break away from it, because especially if you're a creative person, you want people to see your art. Good fucking luck not having a social media account. Good luck with that. Good luck not like, oh, I reject this platform. Okay, go ahead and stand your ground wherever you want to, but you're just fucking shooting yourself in the foot in the end.
Yep.
And so that's what I think is crazy. Is just how it's inescapable. Like it's to the point where even random jobs now, like you're a busker who juggles on the street, you have to figure out a way to make social media content so you can actually make a living. If you are somebody who is an author, you have to find a way to make good social media content so that way a publisher is going to look at your profile and actually give you a publishing deal. An author. If you are a scientist, well, maybe you should make a podcast, or maybe you should do something where you educate people on social media so that way people can you can make more money as a scientist. Like, 'cause you're a professor, all these fucking schools aren't going to pay you that much. But you can make some money on Patreon.
We're slaves, basically.
Yeah.
To the system and to social media.
But the thing is, like,
we need a solar flare. And
I think it's an interesting conversation if you have an imagination, because there's a way to escape these things. I think, like, I hate the idea that it's all like pessimism and it's all bad. I think there's good in social media, and I also think that, like, what needs to happen is you need more authentic, creative people to come along and remind people what creativity is. And at least social media gives you the opportunity. I mean, the problem is that there's oversaturation, and there's always been oversaturation, but now it's everywhere all the time, and it's easy to find. But I think that real nature always wins in the end, reality always wins in the end, and somehow there is hope in creativity itself. Like, every time you see something good that's creative, it reminds you what it is to be alive and to be human and to create. And I just hope that carries us forward throughout this fucking dystopian apocalypse that we're in.
The cyberpunk future we're living in.
Yeah, because I think, like, I genuinely believe religiously in creativity and what that can do for people. But, you know, you just watch every single industry just go downhill slowly throughout your fucking adult life, and it's very hard to keep hope. Because it's every industry. I'm telling you, like, the video game industry, the film industry, those are the two where it's, like, in your face. They are just not what they used to be. I mean, you look at a calendar of what came out in 2008, what came out this year, what came out last year. It's just not the same
2008, anymore. You just look at all the movies that came out, just banger after banger.
And video games too. Yeah. Like, both of those industries, there was an actual competition. There was a competitive market. I mean, that to me is the key. There was a competitive market, and once the market's bought out by everything, and everything's all about making the same 5 companies get to make money, like, you're never going to get a good Far Cry Ubisoft. You're never going to get any good Ubisoft game. It's never going to happen. The Sims, EA, never going to make anything good ever again. It's just never going to happen. But people still act like the video game industry is what it used to be. Like, you just have to accept that this is a whole new world. And that's what the point I was making with creativity and social media is, I think, like, now you have YouTube where you can just upload a movie to YouTube. You can put Gobblehead on YouTube. You can put Loose Ends on YouTube. And then once it's on there, you can make your own way in a film industry in a world that you never could have before. And I think that hopefully we're on the very beginning of that. You have all these kids who are, like, raised on YouTube and saw these YouTubers make stuff when they were 12, 15, 20. You said Indiegogo. What's the Indiegogo thing?
Oh, so right now, we finished a campaign for a short film called Sin, S-Y-N. It's a short horror movie that is being directed by my buddy Ashland Thomas. He's an actor. He was in Gobblehead 3 briefly. He was also in Spaghetti Man. We both acted together on Hamster in My Head. Actor, producer, writer, director, big horror movie guy. Loves horror movies. He works the con circuit pretty often. And I bumped into him at Spooky Empire Film Festival this past fall, because we took Loads, which is our comedy sex body horror movie, body horror comedy sex romance. You know, it's got all the things. It's a fucked up movie, but we took it. We basically took it to Spooky Empire Film Festival, which is in Florida. Leading up to that, we were about to give up on fests because we kept entering into festivals and it kept getting rejected. And then we would get these weird updates from festival runners about specific movies. So our movie was, arguably, it's a divisive film because it deals with a lot of bizarre stuff. Like, you know, it's got sex worker stuff in it. Masturbation is a massive part of the movie. And, people either like it, hate it, or, what have you. So, I mean, at least that's a good sign. It's a little divisive. You know what I'm saying? Which is weird that something would get slammed by people that are clearly leaning a certain way for this harmless movie about a guy that jacks off too much.
Yeah.
But we were about to give up, and then it got accepted by Spooky Empire, which was awesome. We flew down to Orlando. We were there for the whole fest. Lots of great filmmakers down there that we got to chat with and meet. And our buddy Ashlyn, who had hung out with last year at the Days of the Dead horror convention, and they were doing a festival there too. He was working the booths. He was working with the Greasy Strangler actors, who are guys that are from the Greasy Strangler movie. It's a independent cult film that had come out a couple years ago. And he was kind of just helping them out at the booth. He was working. And I'm like, well, what are you working on right now? And he was telling me that he was working on a short film called Sin. And it's a 90s vibe horror movie. It is kind of takes a page out of the Final Destination book when it comes to characters dying in bizarre ways. And the premise is a group of teenagers are brought a bottle in the middle of the night, and they're told not to drink before midnight. And, of course, some of them do, and some awful stuff happens. All being done with practical effects. So a lot of the work being done right now is pre-production, because we finished an Indiegogo campaign. And they had set a modest goal of getting, raising originally $1,500 for initial costs. And then Kino Crew, we decided to kind of step in and help finance a large chunk of the production costs. So now we've come on as producers. And it's got a lot of really interesting actors in it that are all local independent horror talent. And they also plan on featuring Felissa Rose, who is kind of the go-to star of the sleepaway camp horror films. And she is, kind of just like a cult horror legend. And Ashlyn and her are good friends. And it looks like that's going to be a great addition to the movie. And the campaign finished up, I believe, last month. So now they're going into production. So late February, they'll be shooting. And a couple of other Kino Crew people are involved with that. Casey, who had acted in Gobblehead 3, who's been our go-to co-producer and assistant director, script supervisor. She's hopping on the project, as well as some other people. So we're super excited about that. I think Ashton's a great guy. He's definitely someone that I think you'd probably get a kick out of chatting with. He's funny as hell.
Yeah.
Knows a lot of facts about movie making and also just horror movies in general. That's what's coming up in February. And then Loads screened at Spooky Empire, and it played really well. They had it lined up because there's different blocks. There was a lot of entries. There's a Southern Gothic block. There was a slasher block. And then ours was so particular, it ended up in a block called the WTF block. It was in the WTF block, which was basically the midnight block.
Yeah.
Which is good and bad. Good because the midnight block is kind of cool, come out and see this midnight movie, right? The weird stuff plays at the end of the day. Bad part is it's the end of the day, so we had to do a lot of self-promotion during the fest to pack the room. And luckily...
So we just walked around with cum on our face. And
all day. Fake jizz all day.
Yeah. People are like, is that real? And they're like, find out tonight.
Find out tonight. Get your own jar.
Yeah. It's good merch, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. Just sell vats of jizz, fake jizz. It's presumably fake.
It's fake for sure. It's fake.
For sure. Oh, yeah. Definitely not real.
Yeah.
We had Tim with us, and, Tim, great promoter. We had him there the entire time, and he printed hundreds of copies of the poster, and we're just the entire time guerrilla marketing the movie. We had 2 screenings. We packed it both times.
Nice.
Which turned out really well. And the audience, this audience had no clue who we were. Loved the movie. There was lots of laughing and people finding it gross. We did a Q&A. It was a blast. It was great. What was funny is we had been at a lot of the blocks for that fest, and it does this in terms of quality. You get some good shorts, you get some okay shorts, you get some bad shorts. The WTF block consistently across the board were really good.
Really?
A lot of them were like very, very interesting.
Yeah.
So I mean, the response worked out pretty well. And then when they did the final awards, we came in like second place for audience choice out of like over 100
How'd they do the voting? Did people actually vote like on piece of paper?
Yeah, they would pass out like papers. And at that point, we're packing the room both nights. So somehow we squeezed by to second place, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Should grab first. Just funny that something like that
happened. You see any other good
happened.
films at the festival? Did you see any other stuff you liked a lot?
Sure. There's some really cool stuff. We watched one, it's called Double Dipping, and it was bizarre, man. It was the cats that made that are excellent. They're like these young guys that are Florida filmmakers. And it felt very Lynchian too.
Yeah.
Like it was really like over the top comedy, post-apocalyptic. There was one about a guy that falls into a potato well. He falls into like this room filled with potatoes and he's stuck in there. Like there's like bizarre stuff that was like really interesting. A lot of great horror stuff. The place was packed with stars too. I mean, like there was like the kids from It were there this year, and then of course, Art the Clown was there. That line was massive. Mm-hmm. Elvira was there. Just all around a good time, and also stark contrast festival wise in terms of a lot of the festivals we've gone to before. The people that were running it were very polite, very cool, very supportive, and a large chunk of the proceeds ended up going to like. They were donations. And they ran the people that run it. They also run like a filmmaking course or filmmaking camp for kids. So it was like going towards like a good cause ultimately. And then you compare something like that to like a lot of the local fests, which not to shit on all the Chicago fests, but a lot of those are just shit, just poorly ran or scams. A lot of scamming going on in the film festival circuit. A lot of people just ripping you off, basically.
How so?
Well, I mean, like it's like how much are they charging?
Pay to submit.
Pay to submit, and then you pay to submit, but then there's never a guarantee that you're going to get in the first place. So you're paying entry fees.
It's like paying to apply for an apartment. It's like the same exact thing.
There's no guarantee. There's just a guarantee that they'll at least look at your thing and consider it.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
But you're paying for it,
right?
For basically bullshit background check or whatever. And,
and then they would argue it's a way to filter out poor submissions.
Exactly.
But I mean,
we squeaked by too.
Yeah.
By the end of Spooky Empire, we were told that the movie still was debated. so they had still debated whether or not to actually entertain screening the film, but we squeaked by. And after that, we also just decided that we were just sick of fests, at least for this specific film. So we're just going to do our own screenings, and we're going to start locally.
And that leads to Surge Billiards. And so I think this comes out, it's episode 251. I have the date somewhere on my phone, but it's like early March, I want to say. So it's right after this has happened, yeah? Because it's the end of February you guys are doing the screening?
Screening will be late March.
Oh, so there you go. So it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, March 28th.
Perfect. Okay. So when this podcast releases, you still have the opportunity to go and see Loads live on the big projector screen in Surge Billiards.
Surge Billiards, the pocket at Surge Billiards.
The pocket at Surge Billiards, which is where I've done my previous Cash Bash shows. It's a great spot for like a bunch of comedians are producing shows out of there now. So if you are a fan of comedy, you're a fan of film, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on at Surge Billiards. Yeah. And it's cool that you guys are doing that there because, I mean, it's kind of like it's a perfect spot for that type of thing. I mean, I think Coconut Cruise was screened there a couple times. That was Andrei Smerlos and Sean Shaw.
Yes.
And basically like any short film like thing where you want to pack a room with like 50 up to 50 people for a little intimate experience, an intimate viewing of a film, that's a great spot for it, I feel like.
It's great. It's small. It's intimate.
It's just small enough, yeah. If you're trying to do a smaller screening, you don't want to go above and beyond. Like that's the perfect spot.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And if all goes well, maybe we'll host an additional screening of it at that same place.
Yeah.
And then we kind of want to continue to take it out and show it off a little bit more. We were talking about YouTube earlier, and I think that YouTube is very good for a lot of people. But I've noticed that for specific things like certain narrative films, it's not always 100% the best unless you've got a built-in audience.
Oh, it's the built-in audience 100%. I mean, it's the availability, it's the accessibility, and it's the reliability of an audience that you already have. But a lot of it, to me, is just the argument of accessibility. Because, like, you're just not, like, if you're a smaller filmmaker, you're not somebody who's on the scale of a major artist. Like, I think accessibility should be one of the number one things that you're trying to achieve. Is like, yeah, they know I'm a filmmaker. They can see that on my social media account, but, like, can they watch my film?
That's just it. And I think that, if you've got a body of work, it lends itself better to make it as accessible as possible.
When you're trying to establish yourself.
Yeah, I think that my current thinking with it now is that I think that we put a lot of work into these smaller movies, and I think that I think driving up the demand is important too, like making it something that people actually want to see. But also, I'm more hesitant now to directly start to post all these things, only because I feel as though there's diminishing returns kind of thing. We could promote it best we can, but it's not necessarily something that we can monetize effectively. It would have to be like a massive push, a massive hit for it to be able to like kind of catch steam.
Yeah.
Accessibility in terms of exposure is good, because if I want to turn someone over to something and be like, can you check this movie out? And they go to watch it, they're like, okay, this is really good. It makes it easy to share amongst people. But I think in the current climate, at least for people that are making longer movies, like Loads is 20 minutes long. You put a movie like Loads online, sure, people will watch if they were waiting for it or if they have the time, but it's a 20-minute film. It's difficult to guarantee someone's going to sit through that entire thing. And then that lends itself to more like longer movies, like 30 minutes, 40, even features. I mean, I think that the greatest strength a lot of filmmakers have now is the ability to not be as charitable, maybe not charitable, but like having their movie, access to their movie. Because I think immediately wanting to get things on streaming is... that's a knee-jerk response. I think you want to be able to put your movie out there so more people see it, but also the return on all that stuff is never great. I don't think you should get in the film business to make money, but you also have to be able to like, you want to keep the lights on.
Yeah.
You want to be able to like get to the next thing, and the market's so oversaturated that getting something onto a streaming service isn't the hardest thing in the world, but also like getting your money back is impossible.
Right.
The money just disappears. It doesn't even depend on the distributor. It's just the nature of things. They fought to like actors and filmmakers fought to see the real numbers based off Netflix and other streaming services, and you can never truly trust the numbers the distributor is going to show you anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, like you're kind of cooked. I mean, you have to hope that you have such a smash hit that making the next thing is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to make any kind of money back. So I mean, I think, and it depends on the filmmaker. Everybody's different, but I like the idea of starting off with making something only accessible if you are able to participate in the theater-going experience, because I think that what we're going to be seeing soon is the best way for indie filmmakers to kind of retain the ownership over their movies and to also kind of justify continuing to make them and to get people back into theaters is just to approach it that way. I think we want to get more people back into theaters. I think power needs to be given more back to the artists and the filmmakers. And I think in many ways the streaming world is kind of diluting and killing a lot of that. I think that it's I think it's kind of blocking everything.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. And it was what I was saying before, where it's like you could have the pessimistic attitude of it's over, movies are over, and it's never going back, and there's nothing we can do. But I don't think that's true. I think it's that same thing where reality wins, and I think that people want the experience of having a collective viewing experience. They want that. There's something fundamentally different about going to a theater and collectively experiencing something with this group of people, and there's a roar of laughter in this one moment in the film, and that's what you remember. It's those little moments, those things that stick out with your viewing experience. That's what makes it yours. And I think that, it's what makes a film is like when maybe there's a moment that wasn't supposed to be funny, but that this audience finds it funny for some reason. And as a filmmaker, that's a really interesting thing to see the audiences react different audiences react differently to different things, and watching people interpret your film. Like, all this stuff's part of the experience. Yeah. And you take all that out when you start to just shove shit into people's houses.
Because then it just becomes disposable almost.
Yeah, and forgettable. Yeah, because it's like I think it's that shared thing, and I think like it's the same thing with live performance and live music. Like it's going to be really hard. You can make it more expensive, you can make it harder to do, but it's going to be really hard to stamp it out entirely, because there's always going to be it's an inner human craving of connection. Like, you want to connect with something, and that's connective tissue, whereas you don't have that if you just... It's why I want to get a group together to just watch movies every now and then, because I think that I find that movies are more fun when I watch them with people. Yeah. It's just more fun to watch a movie like that. We're all kind of like, something crazy happens and we look at each other like this, like, damn, that motherfucker's really getting a pencil through his foot, that's crazy. Yeah. Like, but there's... You don't have that when you're just sitting there watching it in your apartment by yourself. You're just like, you have that inner monologue maybe, but you don't have like, oh man, remember when we watched The Shining for the first time 10 years ago? Wasn't that crazy?
Exactly. It shapes the experience. Like, watching movies, it's a lot of things. It's the movie itself, but also like, where are you? What time of the year is it? Who's with you? Yeah. That also plays a factor in how people determine how they feel about things.
And there used to be a mythos surrounding the theater. Like, it used to be you go to the theater to see a film and you don't see it anywhere else.
Yeah, it was an event. It was like when they would do, like an example would be something like Ben-Hur. Mm-hmm. There was an overture. There's that plays before the film. As people are sitting down, there's just literally just, the overture. There's music playing. There's intermissions. And some people tried to bring a little bit back. When Tarantino did Hateful Eight, he did a road show where he did do the intermission and the overture, and he kind of basically like, it's close to something that I'd like to do, where the road show is basically like how movies used to get distributed back in the day, or even like the drive-ins, where producers they'd have their films in their trunks and they would just drive from venue to venue showing their movie. And a large chunk of it, they used to keep most of the proceeds anyway, because they're doing the work of trying to get it out there and seen. And that's kind of where I would approach this. I've always been a bigger fan of weird underground stuff anyway. I love cult films, B-movie, drive-in style movies. Not just because the content is fun, but also like you're saying, it's the communal experience of, you're in a space with a bunch of people and you're watching something, and it's just being filtered through that collective like group. Yeah, which in my opinion is what forms the true identity of any piece of art. Yeah. Is like that collective response and how people respond to it. It's why I would say a David Lynch or a Tarkovsky is so good, because they leave it open-ended enough to where you could have an audience that all interprets it differently. Yes. But we all still love it for the same exact reasons and the same exact things. I love when people stand around in the lobby and they're like trying to process it. Yeah. And people are bouncing it off one another. Yeah. I like going to when I would go to the music box to see a screening, and people are just standing out there. They go to grab a drink and they're like, "What was that even about?" Yeah, like they're just discussing the film.
That's one of my favorite parts about going to a movie, is like when you leave and you get to talk about the movie with the person you just saw it with. That's a great feeling. There's nothing that compares to that for me. That's a very specific feeling for me that nothing else could compare to, because it's like because you get to be like, oh man, that was fucking terrible, wasn't it?
I think that's, upon thinking about it after a while, more so recently, I think that's the big reason I think I'm in it.
Yeah,
is that
just the like talking about the movie.
Yeah, and that's not even just relegated to, because I do want to keep theaters alive. Mm-hmm. I don't want to just shit all over streaming, because like you said, you can still get a group of people together and enjoy a movie at home. And a lot of some of my most fondest memories watching movies is just getting my friends together on a Friday night.
Yeah.
And we don't even have to be at the theater. We could just be at home.
Yeah.
And we've got a red box movie, or we went to Blockbuster, or we had all been talking about what we're going to watch, and we've got the food. Everyone's just chilling, and we're just watching something, and it flavors everything. It flavors the whole experience and your view of the movie. And, I don't want to lose that.
No. And I was going to say, too, if you're being optimistic rather than having a pessimistic view, the goal is just create more of those experiences. Like, in my mind, the only solution, the only way out of that is to make more of that happen, even just in your immediate vicinity. Like you just said, get a bunch of friends together on a Friday night and just watch a movie. That could be enough. It doesn't have to be world changing, but also like something like we were talking before we started about how Noah Guardado did a like miniature film festival for Chicago at the Ramova Theater. Now Jerry is doing that same thing, where he's doing about, like, I want to say 5 short films being screened at the Music Box, right?
Yeah.
And it's just more of that. Those are the types of things that get... Because what it does is, not only is it an event at a theater, but it's creating a community surrounding those films.
Yes.
Like, it's the actual community aspect of it that's the most powerful, because it makes people involved in something, and it makes the film bigger than itself. Like when you see a film in that type of context, and so it's like a genius move in my mind, and that's the type of stuff you need in order to elevate any scene or any creative field. Is you have to highlight it and make it easy for people to figure out what it is and to find it, and to show that you're doing it along the way. Like, let people see how great your festival went, and let people see that you put out a red carpet and you did all this, because that stuff all sends a message that just ripples throughout the community.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Turn it into an event.
Yeah, turn it into an event where people feel like they were a part of something. Like, oh, that was a one-time thing and I was there and I'm glad I was there.
Yeah.
And just more of that kind of stuff is probably the only way you're going to escape this fucking apocalypse in which we're all not meant to enjoy movies with each other. I don't understand that. I don't understand why even seems like the theaters themselves want to make it more difficult. Like, the people who run the theaters don't want indie films, and they don't want to make it easy for you to get your film shown at their theater. Like, a lot of the AMC theaters are notoriously hard to get your movie screened at.
Yeah, it's
like,
all...
Why?
Well, it all comes down to who gets their share.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Per screen, per screening, per venue. It's... maybe things will shift. Maybe there'll be some sort of shift that happens with both that and the way that companies approach streaming and sharing equity and revenue and all that. But I don't know.
Who knows?
The events like the stuff that Jerry's going to put together, and events similar to that, are important, because you've got a lot of independent filmmakers and everyone's sharing the same dream, and everyone's there to watch each other's work and potentially collaborate with each other in the future. It's a support system. I think it's important. I think that people are less and less inclined to pack up everything they have and move to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I think that's less popular now than it's ever been. On top of the fact that it's expensive to live in LA, the rat race cutthroat mentality, I think, immediately turns a lot of people off. And if you do get to the top, it doesn't seem like it's worth it.
Right.
I think the limelight is scary overall, because that much exposure, it's a lot of eyes, for one. So everything you do and have done is deeply scrutinized. But then also, if you get to a certain point in the stratosphere where you are this ultra popular celebrity of some stature, when do you start to lose touch with the ground? because some of the things that make you the best artist is being in touch with people, normal people like your dad. Like that's where all the major ideas come. That's where all the major inspirations come, is just being amongst people that aren't always going to wake up one day and be like, I'm going to make a movie.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to write a book. You're surrounded by people that are the fire in you. You know, I'm inspired by artists, other artists for sure. But the people that inspire me the most are the people that aren't doing any of that. You know, those are just the just normal people. You know, they're just the folks that are out there doing stuff.
Yeah.
And that's like, you don't want to lose touch with that, because you see artists that do. And the artists that become ultra successful that lose touch with the street, look at what they do to try to get back in touch with it. They go out of their way to try to get back in, to catch the unicorn. They do crazy drugs. They throw insane parties. They do crazy stuff to try to get in touch with their inner child again.
Yeah, I mean, especially with child actors, you can see it more than anybody.
Yeah.
Because they didn't even have a childhood.
They're totally robbed of it.
Yeah, so whatever they try to do to capture that is just going to look crazy.
Yeah.
But it's hard to understand if you've never been a celebrity. You've never understood. It's impossible to understand, because... And that's the biggest problem of all, is that these people are stuck in this bubble that they will never escape, because their life is different than everyone else's life. Like a normal person's life is different than a celebrity's life.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think I think all the people who want popularity and they want all those things, I don't think they actually know what they want. Because I think 90% of those people, if they actually had the fame and acclaim they want, they would not want it anymore. And you hear it from celebrities all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my life was actually a lot better before this happened. I think it's like...
They don't know what they're giving up.
Yeah, they don't know what they're giving up. And you have... everybody's got a perfect ideal world in their mind. Like, oh, there's this paradise reality that exists, but I'm just not there yet. And then once you get to there, you're not there anymore. So it's just how the world works. You know, we all want our cake, and we want to eat it too. We want everything all at once. And so it's very easy to then imagine that, you know, being a celebrity is awesome and getting money is awesome. But it seems like once those things happen, you think all your problems are solved. It's actually just those problems, but bigger now. It's actually just those problems you had before, but just bigger and more amplified. And all your character flaws are actually more important than they've ever been. You know?
Yes.
Every single thing that's bad about you, you got to worry about more so than ever. So,
and there's all this exactly.
Yeah.
And there's all this evidence that exists now.
Yeah.
That should indicate to you, hey, maybe I shouldn't strive for that specifically.
Yeah.
All the people that get canceled, all the people that are caught up in scandal, all the people that die from drug overdoses or caught up in some sort of, you know, whatever.
It's like mid-tier success, like lower success is actually the best success, because it's just the low stakes level of that. It's like I'm good enough to get by. I have enough money to support my happiness, my family. I'm good. Like that's where you stop, is right there.
Just to be able to support yourself.
Yeah.
I've also kind of just not totally abandoned the idea that I'll be able to like just support myself off it, because I don't know if the Calvary is ever truly going to come.
Yeah, right.
I think that and then as far as dreaming about having your name up in lights and everybody knowing you, long dead is that for me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not even worried about that. My thing is that if I got to continue to work a day job, I don't mind that, because I've done right by everybody I know. So I haven't fucked anyone over yet.
Yeah.
I don't plan to. But also I'm like, I get along with a lot of people, and I have I'm not someone who believes I should jeopardize somebody else's well-being to achieve what I want to achieve either.
Yeah.
I think I would be satisfied. I'm more satisfied. I would die satisfied knowing that I gave it my best shot, and that also I managed to get something that I believed in making made, and it doesn't even need to be a success. It just needs to be out there. It's like taking a big dump. Like, I just got to get it out, and then it's out there, and it's like, that's enough artistry for me, is to be able to actually make it, process it, get it out there, because I think that that's all anyone should strive for. I don't think there should be any striving for becoming idolized in that way. I think I'm enough of a positive influence on the people around me to be satisfied. I don't need to seek more love.
Yeah.
I've done right by enough people to be satisfied. All I want to do is just work hard and create art that I want to create, and then I'll be done.
I wish I could think like you. I'm insane. I'm insane. I want everyone to know who I am. I want you to know that I am the greatest of all time.
All time. Never rest. Never rest. Number one.
I don't know what it is in me, but I think it's like a competitive thing, but I just want to like prove it all the time. And like I think that's like the thing that it'll be my downfall. It's just that like nothing's ever good enough. I'll constantly be improving. I'll constantly like it's a good way to think, but it's also
it is a good way to think.
never-ending dissatisfaction you're gonna have because.
Well, I mean, of course, I'm not saying that you're ever going to be 100% satisfied.
But I just mean like
Always
I wish
improve.
I could just be like, you know what? I don't have any big aspirations. I'm okay with just making something, taking the dump and being done. I can't do that. I'm like every time I make anything, it's like, okay, well, like within 2 to 3 weeks, I'll learn to hate it. Within like 2 to 3 months, like within a year, it's over. I look back at that like, fuck was I doing? Like everything, and it's okay. That means I'm getting better. That means I improve. But it also is like. It's because of my long-term like way of looking at all of it. It's like nothing is ever the whole piece. It's all just part of this greater whole that will eventually one day be realized. And like and it's a gift and a curse. Like I would put it both ways because I like that I do that because it makes me strive for more. But I hear you describe what you just described, and that sounds like heaven. Like maybe I'll age into it. Maybe one of these days.
I mean, maybe it is that. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope so because I'm a madman. You know, I'm like I must not give up until I have all of the power.
I will be Walt Disney. I will freeze myself.
Look, because I think about it like
Jeff Bezos.
in practical terms. I just mean like even for art, I want to achieve a change with my art. Well, how do I do that? I must extend the reach of my art as much as possible, and that is a never-ending process.
Yes.
So it's like that is where it all becomes. That's where it gets you, because like you could be a legitimate raw artist that only wants to like make art and make a difference, but even then, like you could make the most riveting, amazing art piece of all time, and no one ever sees it. And it's like a philosophical debate. Like, did you even make the art at all if no one responded to it? And so, like, most of what I've done, I look at it like it's all just me extending the reach of what I do one step at a time until eventually I've gotten my tentacles in every single tendril of everywhere. But it's like, I don't even see any other way. And especially in like the modern market, I don't even know what else I could do. Because it seems like if I just focus on music and what I'm most passionate about, that's actually not the move anymore. Now it's about reach and extending yourself out there and being a social media fucking personality and getting people to see you. Everybody's marketing. It's like how we're saying, it's inescapable. The fucking phone. It's so hard to just be an artist, and it's if you want people to see your art, it's like it's been stacked against you.
Yes,
we need a solar flare. That's where it is.
It's daunting. It's like it's.
But you have to do it.
It feels like Sisyphus, like you're pushing the boulder up the hill.
Yeah,
and and even the guys that make it tell you like, I got horror stories.
Yeah,
they all have horror stories.
And the greatest of all time, like the greatest filmmakers, the greatest musicians, all have horror stories of like, or like that project that you think is perfect was actually like they had to fight so hard to make it what it is because there was all these people trying to change it along the way.
Yes,
like you'll hear stuff like that where it's like, why would anybody want to change that? It's perfect, but that's exactly what you deal with.
I would be satisfied to just pull off a piece of art that is at least worth scrutinizing for X amount of time.
Yeah, right.
Just it doesn't even need to be like a massive success. It could just be something like, did you hear about this? And then people don't even have to like it that much.
Yeah.
I can only ever really speak truly from a filmmaker's perspective just because I've been fucking around with cameras for this long and making people show up and film them do things.
Yeah.
It's difficult for me to... I can at least see it from... I can see how you're telling me and then seeing what Tim goes through.
Yeah.
The singular artistry is a scary world to me.
Yeah.
It's even scarier. So that's anyone that my hat's off. I always take my hat off to anybody that's either going to get into the music industry or they're going to get into just being an author.
Right.
And even then, like I would still give it to anyone that's getting into the music industry. I think ultimately though is that you will always benefit as long as you're just good to people. I think that as long as you're good to people, if you're just decent, things happen. If you're nice to people, you're thoughtful, and you actually give a shit about what they say and what they do and what you do for them, good things work out. You know, I mean, like, plenty of assholes become famous and remembered. But then again, they're also assholes. And the secret isn't always buried for long.
Right.
Usually it comes out, and that power and reputation that they strive so hard for, that they stepped on other people to get to, it starts to taste bitter in their mouth because people will eventually talk about how they got there.
Right, yeah.
And it'll stain their reputation. And if you want to bury those secrets, you have to ruin a lot of lives just to keep it that way.
Right.
So then it's like, can you truly sleep at night then? So, I mean, I don't know. I think what you do here is great because you speak to everybody and you give everybody a platform to speak. Right, yeah. Basically, almost anybody that I know that's in the Chicago art scene comes through here to talk with you,
which is cool.
Which is wild because you have everybody in here. There's musicians, filmmakers, comedians, all sorts of people.
Yeah, and in my framework, that is the. To me, it's all like it becomes greater than me in the best possible way if I do it right. Where it's like, I would like for what my creativity to represent is the creativity in everybody else. Like, I would like for what I do to highlight that other people are just as capable and just as I think like the spark of creativity is contagious. And I once wrote in a song, like back in high school, a match to a spark to inspire. I want to see you start a fire. And what I think by that is I'm just trying to start like a small beginning of something so that other people can then take that and roll with it and make something way better. And that's the point of putting ideas out there and creativity out there, is to ignite some type of creativity in others. And I think that through doing something like this, I can achieve that through actions. Like, rather than just saying that and saying that's what I want to do. Yeah. You're doing it because it's other people constantly just expressing themselves, and through that collectively you have a whole community of creative people. And I think that that's everywhere all the time, wherever you are. It's just that I'm just highlighting this one small pocket of that. And if you do it right, you can really see how, like, and I think that's like another thing about like just interviewing and podcasting that most people don't do. They don't just bring people in and try to highlight them. They try to make it a show and do too much. Yeah. And I think you have a great opportunity to like build people up in this way and let people see them that would never seen them. Like, I mean, you even said to me, like, Kelly McGee, that you found out about her through the podcast. Stuff like that for me is the coolest thing to hear. Yeah. Because that's something I wouldn't have predicted or thought of, or I never make a podcast thinking so-and-so is going to know so-and-so because they saw this. Yeah. But that's how it works. And everything ends up like snowballing into other creative endeavors if you do it right. And if you're not too, I don't think you can have like a too solid of a vision or be too targeted or be too worried about demographics or be too worried about anything. You just have to do it over and over and believe in raw creativity and believe in that kind of thing. Yeah. Like I said, it's like a religion to me. Like you have to really believe in that, because if you don't, it won't work. It'll just end up being the You show, or it'll just end up being, and I think that for me, I think in all art, it just has to come from a genuine, raw place. Like, one of the best things you can do as a person, as an artist, is have like an actual, like, end goal, I guess, or like an actual ultimate plan, ultimate message, ultimate driving force, whatever it is. That's like the core of you, like the theme, like the thesis that you have. It's got to be something, because otherwise you're just aimlessly going all over the place. Yes. And that's what most people are doing, and they don't realize it because they haven't figured out what their ultimate goal is. And then I think once you have that, you have to choose actions that align to that. So like, That's why if you're a filmmaker, your choice is, I just want to make films that I like making, and that's all I want to do. Well, then you don't have to be trying to work with studios and doing all this shit and schmoozing with people.
Yeah.
But if your goal is to be like a well-known director that's like working with Hollywood, well, then you have to do all that stuff yesterday. Like, you have to you have to be the worst person ever in order to achieve that goal. You have to be, because that's what's required of you. You have to constantly be seeking those opportunities and pursuing it. It's like, that's why being the best is a ridiculous goal, because it takes a ridiculous amount of effort to actually even get anywhere near that. And so, but I think people get it mixed up, and they say like, I want to be the best, and then they don't do that stuff that lines up with that goal, or they say, I just want to do this, and then they get upset about like the fact that so-and-so didn't like what they did. But why are you trying to satisfy so-and-so? You don't care about so-and-so.
Yes.
But like, people just get the wrong ideas about because they don't have a solid actual vision for what they are and what they want to do.
Yes.
And that's just people in general. It's artists. It's all over the place. And I think it's like a key source of unhappiness is like, people just don't know they're just fucking wandering aimlessly. And that's normal. Like, life is a very confusing thing, but you got to figure it out eventually, or else you're just wandering. You can't be a wanderer forever. It's sad.
It's good to have a goal, though.
Yeah. It changes you. That's why I think artists inspire me, because they have figured out how they want to express that urge. You know, they found a place to channel it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's inspiring. It's inspiring to inspire too.
Yes, yeah.
Which is like,
and you're more interesting when you're interested.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is like Ruse Radio is like a beacon of positivity. Ultimately, it's just positive vibes all day.
I mean, yeah, I do my best. I'm glad to hear you say what you just said too, because I want the show to expand beyond comedy, beyond music, beyond any particular topic, and just be something that represents art and creativity and just anything, really. Like, I want it to be something that just highlights the people around you, rather than it just being a comedy show, or it just being like, I feel like any particular niche, you want to extend beyond that, because that's how life is. Life extends beyond that, and there's always so much more to everything if you know how to look, you know.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh, look at us. We're just motivational speakers at this point.
Buy my book.
Buy my book, yeah. It's called Loads, The True Story.
Loads, The True Story. Autobiographical.
Maybe you could do like, if people get it early, they could get the premature edition, you know.
Yes, exactly. For the premature cut.
Yeah.
That'd be solid.
The uncut edition would be good too. Uncut edition of Loads.
Yeah. Uncut. Hell yeah. Loads. The loaded bonus features.
Uncut, hooded, and ready to go.
Hooded and ready to go. Oh my God.
Well, you know, this has been a wonderful episode. We definitely went over on time, but that's okay. You know, that's how you know that we're having a great time here on Ruse Radio. It was a pleasure to have you back, Alex Perez.
Yeah, glad to be back.
You know, you're doing great things out here, but you don't need me to tell you that. You already know that. Loads is awesome, folks. Try to go see it in March. Make sure you check out the Gobblehead movies that are on YouTube now. They're all fantastic. What else can I say? I don't know. I guess at the end of the show, we always do the same two things. So what are those two things? What's about to happen? One, this show is obviously for 3 to 5 year olds. Those are my core demographic. That's who watches this.
That's who's on it right now.
Yeah, it's who's listening. And, you know, I'm very honored to be a leader of the children, and I think that I'm a good role model. And so what I like to do at the end of these episodes is give a message to the kids who watch before they go and turn on some Miss Rachel afterwards. So you're going to be the leader. You're going to give them a message. You're going to give the kids a message at the end of this episode, some nugget of knowledge within your brain, some piece of wisdom that you got contained within. And second, the social medias, where they can find you, where they can watch your movies. I kind of already covered that one for you a second ago.
Do you want me to do that first, or then the message?
However you feel, however you see fit.
Okay. So, Alex Perez, Chicago filmmaker, genre freak. You can find me at Alex Perez Makes Stuff on Instagram. I also have the Kino Crew Productions Instagram. That's our film company where we make all sorts of crazy stuff. So you can find me on there, find me on Facebook, find me wherever. And if I could leave you with a piece of advice, I'm going to butcher a quote probably from Stephen King, another freak. Art is a support system for life, and it's not the other way around. So that you should always remember. That we live to put art out there for sure, but also don't forget the small things that matter the most. So your family, your friends, your coworkers, that's where a lot of the important juice comes from. And you can't let that fall by the wayside, because without that, there is no juice.
Gotta have juice for the loads.
This is true.
Yeah.
It's all juice. Also, loads, March 28th. Pocket at the Surge Billiards. That's coming out as well. Bring your friends, bring your family, leave the kids at home, because you'll probably make kids that night anyway.
Yeah. Well, that's weird, because we're talking to the kids right now.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. How does
Wear
that
protection.
Yeah. Start early, wear protection. As soon as you begin, always wear protection, kids. Trust me. I know people are going to lead you astray. They're going to tell you otherwise. But you should wear protection. Always be safe. And I'm not just talking about a helmet, all right? I'm talking about...
The helmet.
The helmet, all right? I want everybody to know that Trojan, you can sponsor me. I would be really good with this. I could really pull this off. That'd be a fun bit, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Every now and then throughout the podcast, I just start whipping out Trojans for no reason.
Yes.
Don't even address it. Yeah. Put them on.
Put them on camera.
Yeah.
Just my size.
Maybe I would do one on my hand just for fun.
We'll make balloon animals.
Ooh. And see, it's a family-friendly show, so it's a good market for you guys to move into, because you have probably an untapped market for those guys.
Untapped market.
They probably haven't even thought of doing that. All right, man. Well, it's been a pleasure. Always a good time here on the show. The one, the only. Ruse Radio. Clocking out.
Double down, competition couldn't help him to rock. Missed the whole time, holy fell through the flock. That's an ordinary miracle, wealth to the block. It's a balance in the character that's calm and collect. It's apparent his curriculum is lost in the